Here we go.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
We've shown it all year. We've had to win in so many different random, unique ways. And today we just kept going, kept fighting, and man, that's
what a day for Penske. If you're just joining us, Scott McLaughlin crashed in practice this morning, does not take part in Fast 12. Neither of their remaining cars will take part in qualifying now after the team failed tech. So no Joseph Newgarden, no Will Power, no Scott McLaughlin.
Yeah, we played a lot of games where it felt like the other team had control. It ain't over till it's over, till it hits zero. That's a hell of a win, but we just figured out a way to win, man. I'm just so proud of this group.
You can win this race from any seat in the house. No bad seat at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I think that goes for the starting grid too. I like the challenge of coming from 32nd. I don't know what the day is going to look like. It's so hard to predict, but we do have a great car.
You got to be louder than me. Let's go, everybody. I don't know how many years we have done this, but this is the most fun day of the calendar year. It is happening right now. How the hell are we all doing out here? And who's going to do the show? Because I'm going to be half in the bag by 3:30. Is anybody out there that can do the show right now? Anybody? Because I'm not making it. There's no way that I'm making it. Yeah, you guys got it? Okay, thanks for having my back. How we all doing today, everybody? Carb Day 2025. Got a lot of stuff to get to. By the way, the Open, Nathaniel back at the studio did that. Felix Rosenqvist is my pick to win coming up on Sunday. If for nothing else, he's got Creed and Scott Stapp on the side of his car. Like the most savvy move of all time with that. We got a lot to talk about today. Andretti Global is going to join us coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. I'm going to take a lot of you over with me because we're going to go hang out with Brett Michaels and the All-American Rejects coming up a little bit later on. That is the Carb Day 2025 entertainment for us. And then it doesn't stop there, because I'm staked out of the Coke lot with Braun's Fun Time Campers, right? So I'm going to stay here this weekend. We're going to go over on Main Street. We're going to party with our good friend Clayton Anderson later on tonight. So we're going to make it all weekend long. I hope you guys are ready, right? Have you guys worked out for this? You guys working for it? We also have the Pacers, game number 2. Who out there, Pacer fan? Let's hear you. Pacers game 2 in New York later on tonight, up a game of the best of 7. Yeah, I want to hear a little bit of that. No, you got to be louder than that. If you're going to do the New York sucks chant, it's got to be louder than the JMV sucks chant.
New York sucks! New York sucks!
That's it.
New York sucks! New York sucks!
Pacers and Knicks, game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight, 8 o'clock, 7:30 coverage begins here on The Fan. This is Chris Hagan, everybody, at Fox 59, who is joining us now. There we go. Hey, Hagan, can you take over? Because I got to do shots with all our friends out here. You're going to do shots too?
Yeah, I got to finish my sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Hey, how about JMV? What happened to JMV?
Woo!
Turn sideways. Look, you can't see him.
Let me see, buddy.
He's gone.
I'm feeling good. Thank you, very much.
Okay. What do we think? What's more exciting right now, the Pacers or the Racers? All of it. All right. Pacers are going to win the series. We know that, right? But in how many games? Sweep? 5? 4? We got a sweep? I say Pacers in 6. If they win tonight, though, I think that's a wrap.
It could not have gone any better, could it not, in game number 1? Because you win after being down. That was like the ultimate nut shot to the Knicks and all those celebrity douchebags at Madison Square Garden. It was glorious. It could not have gone any better.
They gave a gut punch to the Bucks with a comeback like that.
Yes.
They did it to the Cavs. They did it to the Knicks. And we got my old comrade, my old coworker, and a guy who's living the life right now. Let's bring him in, John.
Yes. Hey, everybody, let's get a round of applause from Pacers Television. Jeremiah Johnson's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Let's hear it for JJ. Now, one of the reasons why we're doing this is because we want his breakdown. But also, he joined me back on Wednesday with that game number 1 win. And I can't blank with the whole juju.
Oh, it's mojo. That's real.
There's no doubt about that. JJ, welcome to the show. Say hello to everybody in Pagoda Plaza 2025 Carb Day. How are you doing, JJ?
The big race on Sunday. I don't know if things could keep going any better.
Well, where do I start? Chris Hagan is with me, your former colleague at Fox 59, about tonight's matchup. Because obviously the Pacers can improve on a lot of things with the exception of winning the actual game, which matters the most. Where do we start with that level of Game 2 improvement coming up later on tonight after 8 o'clock?
Well, we talked on Wednesday about the improvement defensively, and through 3 quarters, you started to wonder where that improvement was, because I don't think they provided enough resistance to Jalen Brunson and to Karl Anthony Towns, and so I didn't see the same good Pacers defense for a lot of that game, but then you saw them, really figure some things out. They threw some different looks at Jalen Brunson. I think they did give the Knicks a lot to think about heading into Game 2 because they showed some different matchups, some different coverages, but I would just say overall improve your defensive pressure, even though they were going full court press, maybe just a little bit more pressure once the ball crosses half court just to sort of cause problems and not let Jalen Brunson get into his sweet spot, which we found is that maybe 8 to 12 foot area.
Hey, JJ, you never want to be in situations when you're down double digits late in the 4th quarter, but the fact that the Pacers 3 different times in the playoffs have done something that makes ESPN make graphics that say, previously teams were 9-0 before this. That has to give them the confidence that no matter how big the deficit, no matter how much time's left on the clock, I think that not only does that benefit the Pacers, but I think it makes other teams realize this team is never really put away. And I think that psychological advantage or disadvantage goes both ways.
I think I called it a nut shot.
A nut shot, according to JMV.
Yes.
Well, when you get a big lead, you can catch yourself looking up at the scoreboard and saying, okay, we're up by 12. There's 5 minutes to go. We can relax a little bit. And, shame on the Pacers' opponents if they ever relax, because there's been enough body of work, as you mentioned, Chris, the different times they've done it. And it's not just been in the playoffs. That's the funny thing, I feel like, with so many national media members. They say, look what they've done in the playoffs, but this really started in early March. There have been, 4 or 5 other instances in games, admittedly, that did not matter quite as much, where they were able to come from behind. And it wasn't, there wasn't the cases where they just could not start games. It was maybe just a little bit of the middle of the game where things got out of hand, but they were able to quickly regroup. So I never see the Pacers let up, win down. Now, sometimes they are guilty of relaxing a little bit when they have the lead. And so maybe you could argue their best spot is to be down 4 or 5 at halftime, let the opponent relax a little bit, and then make your move in the second half. Kind of like a horse race, Chris. There's a good closer.
It's Jeremiah Johnson, Pacers TV with us. Pagoda Plaza, Carb Day 2025. A couple of announcements to make. Get your shots ready, because here in about 5 minutes, we're all going to do a shot together. That is tradition around here, so get ready for that, too. Pagoda Plaza 2025. This is Carb Day. Thank you for joining us. Chris Hagan, you got another one for JJ right here.
JJ, for those that are so inclined that like to wager on particular things, the Pacers were underdogs in every game in that Cavs series. They were underdogs in Game 1. They're underdogs again tonight. At some point, I mean, the Sharps have to be realizing that they're really getting this thing wrong. And I know that Carlisle, head coach Rick Carlisle, he pointed out in one of his press availabilities that we're underdogs, we'll be heavy underdogs again. So I think that's something that has kind of trickled down to the players, is that nobody respects us despite being, 9-2 now in the playoffs. For some reason still there seems to be a lack of respect, and I think that's something that gets a little chip on the shoulder for the fellas.
Yeah, I mean, I have been a little surprised how many times Rick Carlisle has mentioned that, but it is a little bit of a motivating factor, and it's not just things like being the underdog. It's the individual slights sometimes that have gone the way of certain Pacers players. That's been well documented. It's sort of just the general coverage. They're just like any of the rest of us. They wake up on a Thursday morning or a Friday morning in New York City, and if you turn on a national television show and all of the talk is about how the Knicks can figure things out, how the Knicks can bounce back, and it's not at all about the Pacers, that fires them up a little bit. It's human nature to be the one, you want them to talk about you. And granted, a lot of people have talked a lot about the Pacers over the last 36 to 48 hours. So one of the things that I've talked a few different times to Jenny Busick, the outstanding assistant coach, about is dealing with prosperity. So enough of the slights keep you from being too, full of yourself and kind of big-headed a little bit when things go well. So I don't think it's a bad thing to remind them of what people are saying and what people are predicting. The unusual thing was that Bucks series when everyone was picking the Pacers to win, and it's not just this season, it's Pacers over time. They're always seemingly the underdog, and it's kind of fitting right in right now.
Jeremiah Johnson, Pacers TV, Chris Hagan, JMV, Pagoda Plaza, Carb Day 2025. We don't know who won the Wienermobile race. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on. We'll get Hagan's pick. You have my pick already. We're going to do our Pagoda Plaza shot coming up here in just a second, so you guys get that ready. JJ, I want to bounce back to this. I have been a huge advocate over the years, actually 8 years, in fact, for Miles Turner. I completely understand why Rick Carlisle decided to sub him out in that overtime, and actually it worked out with Obi as they went small, as we saw at the end of that game situation. How do you think they may adjust in trying to handle Karl Anthony Towns? Because here's what the interesting dynamic is. He is really good offensively, but he can't guard anybody's ass out here in Pagoda Plaza normally anywhere on the floor. And you get to take advantage of that, but you also want to make sure you don't get devastated by his offense. How do you handle that from a Pacer standpoint tonight in Game 2?
I would just say continue to run, and that's not anything new to our discussions, or if you watch Pacers basketball all season long, it's not just, okay, you've got a Knicks team that maybe wants to slow it down and you want to run them. That's what the Pacers always want to do. But I took note a couple of different times. It was middle of the first quarter, and I felt like Karl Anthony Towns was having a hard time getting across half court on offense. He was slow to get going. And, part of that is just, his style. He's maybe going to hang out outside the three-point arc anyways. But I would say continue to run. And, trust this coaching staff. I wouldn't overreact if there are some unusual parts of the game where Miles Turner is not in there. That's them sort of making a strategic adjustment to continue to play as fast-paced of a game as possible. My biggest concern probably, obviously Karl Anthony Towns is outstanding offensively, but I'm almost more scared when I see Mitchell Robinson in there because of what he's been able to do with offensive rebounding. So I'll be interested to see if they try to play both of them, and if they do, then you even run that much faster. So I would just say make Karl Anthony Towns tired so maybe he doesn't have legs on those set shots, jump shots.
That's what I do, JJ, when we do the radio show. I just try to make JMV tired. Wear him out by keeping talking.
No, I'm never going to get tired, man. Never tired. I'm like the Terminator out here, man.
Carlisle pointed out in that first-round series about how when you have the home court, the pressure's on you those first two games to try to, protect the home court. And as you go in there as the visiting team on the first two games, you go in saying, well, let's just get one. But now that you took that first one, it's all about Pacers want to be greedy and go ahead and get both of them. So I think if there was already pressure on the Knicks to protect the home court, I mean, it's every pound of pressure in the world is on them right now. And I think that's really an advantage for the Pacers.
There is. I mean, look back to that Boston series against New York, and I was as surprised as anyone that the Knicks were able to win Game 2 after they won Game 1 in the fashion that they did. And part of that was just because of the respect that you had for the Celtics, and you still viewed them as, a legitimate championship contender, and you figured they would bounce back. In this situation, I don't view the Knicks as sort of in that same category as the Celtics, and so while everyone will think the Knicks will bounce back, I think the Pacers, they won't be just satisfied with one win. I'm not going to say they're going to win this game because, the common thought would be this was going to be a long series, and if the Pacers win tonight, it might not be a long series. So we'll see what happens. You'll take the Knicks that shot, but I really feel like the Pacers are going to view this as a real opportunity to take firm control of this series, just like they did against Milwaukee. Granted, those were 2 home games, but to win those first 2 series in 5 games, I think they like that a lot better than being forced to go to 6 or 7, and you have a real shot at that if you can get the job done tonight.
That is Jeremiah Johnson of Pacers TV. Hey, gang, at Pagoda Plaza. Can we give JJ, as he exits here, a Knicks suck chant going here? Can we raise the volume on the Knicks sucks a little bit? Let's get it going. Somebody lead this SOB right here. JJ, that's for you right there, my brother.
I appreciate that.
We got the Mojo Walker with Jeremiah Johnson of Pacers TV right here. Game 2 later on tonight, 8 o'clock. You can get the tip right here on the Fan. 7:30 your coverage. Of course, that's on TNT. JJ, enjoy it, man. We'll do it again soon.
You enjoy your 3-hour extravaganza. I'll be at the watch party tonight with Kristen Airy and Eddie White. So if any of those fans that are out there,
I'm going to be passed out on somebody's couch in Speedway here in about an hour and a half. So, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see anyone that can make it down to Gainbridge Fieldhouse later tonight.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you. JJ, Jeremiah Johnson, Pacers TV. How we all doing? You guys want to do our ceremonial shot? You guys recognize right here that we got Greene County, and there's somebody else from Greene County. We got way too much Greene County here. There's zero way. There's no way there's not weed somewhere. Oh, I'm sorry, Indiana State too. There's zero way there's not weed anywhere here. Right? Because you guys had all the weed at Terre Haute back there.
Hey, officer, how you doing back there? Come on up. Yeah, good to see you.
Zero way we got that. You guys want to do a shot really quick? All right, let's celebrate Carb Day 2025. We're gathered here today because we like one hell of a party. And this is exactly what this is, whether it's right here in Pagoda Plaza or over with the show with Brett Michaels and the All-American Rejects, or coming up on Main Street with Clayton Anderson. We love a party. We love race weekend. And by God, we love our Indiana Pacers. Everybody, drink it up. That's the way it should be right there. Chris Hagan of Fox 59.
I've got a story for you. There's a new phrase that's spreading the nation, and I'm a little pissed off about it.
Okay.
You want me to tell you now or after the break?
No, tell me right now. Is it like I'd rather be dead than red on the head?
It's similar to that.
Okay.
Now listen, a year ago, everybody's heard the term Pacers and Racers, right?
All the time.
So last year I was trying to think of something that would include the fever. I was like Pacers, Racers.
Right.
Couldn't think of one. So I started thinking of things that rhyme with stuff. And I was like, Pacers, kiss the bricks, blah, blah.
Right on.
And I thought of, look out, heads up.
Hell.
I thought of the expression that I told you about last year. I thought of, kiss the bricks and beat the Knicks. So then I was like, that's a great idea for a T-shirt. So I got in touch with our guy from the shop. I told him
Brian Kelly, Brick Shirt House.
Yeah, so they were really busy with stuff. We couldn't do it, so I tweeted it out. Kiss the bricks, beat the Knicks, which is, you got to admit, is pretty awesome.
Right on.
Well, then they put it on that big sign downtown, and then Buxton saw it, and he tweeted it out. So now that phrase, kiss the bricks, beat the Knicks, is everywhere.
And you get no credit for it.
And sure enough, it's everywhere, and there are T-shirts that have been made, hoodies.
Son of a...
I get no credit. So as the kids like to say, you need to give me my flowers.
There's your flowers.
Thank you. So when you see Kiss the Bricks, Beat the Knicks, just remember, it started right here in my big old head. It came. Thank you.
Carb Day 2025 in Pagoda Plaza. Chris Hagan, Fox 59 on JMV. So we got snake pit juice here, correct?
Right.
Well, I understand, but I've got to do it from the jug, dude. I can't do it from the red Solo.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I know that that's not cool.
What are you afraid of?
I'm not. No, that's my balls are hanging out there because I'm going to take it out of the jug right there.
Okay.
Man, I'm not going to be a big wussy and do it out of the red Solo cup. I'm going to.
You're going to drink out of that?
Why wouldn't I?
I'm taking a picture of that.
Why won't you? You know how much? You know how much I've done before? All right, here we go. Here we go. This is Snake Pit Juice. Brian Calvert right here and Dixie the Praying John. You guys ready? All right. I'll be honest with you. We haven't done that. I did 11 seconds back in 2019, and then once 2020 came, we weren't allowed to do this anymore. They can all kiss our ass. We're doing it right now, buddy. Let me tell you that. Emma Dixon went 11 seconds back in 2019, and we've not been allowed to do that before. Hey, we got Kristen Airy coming over here just a little bit, Hagen, so you're going to stick around for a while?
I'm going to stick around, and I remember that was the last time you were able to go 11 seconds.
Because I'd go to jail if I did it now. I'd be, oh, my God, look at this guy spreading germs and all that.
You weigh so little, your blood alcohol content just doubled from one sip of
there's like one or two things are going to happen to me tonight, and neither one are very good, so I can tell you that right now. So I got my fingers crossed the JMV takeover from the Coke Lot happens tomorrow night.
I'll be there. Hey, as we go to break, give it up for Jennifer and Darius, Gatsby's Pub.
Yes!
465 and 71st Street. My favorite bar in all of Indianapolis.
Give it some love on the other side. Daenerys in turn 4. He's the voice of the Pacers. You guys, let's drink up and have a time. Carb Day 2025. Nathaniel's back in the studio. Hagen's here. I'm JMV. Thank you for joining us. It is the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday. We're going to help get you there right here in Pagoda Plaza. 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan. All that stuff just now, by the way, too. You guys, I threw in all these Jello shots, and like half of them, I think, hit the ground. If I throw those out, you guys got to catch them. Cup it. Cup it. You guys know, ladies, you know. Uh-oh. Well, you threw it at my shoe, Nicole. I mean, hell, I can't catch it with my satchel right there. I could try, but yeah. Thank you, BT. Hey, welcome back, by the way, too. We've got a lot of show for you still to come, and we've got the big show going on over there with Brett Michaels and All-American Rejects a little bit later on. Let me introduce everybody, or reintroduce, in this case, Chris Hagan to Fox 59.
Hold your applause. Hold your applause, David.
Hold your applause. Chris Denari is with us. Turn 4, voice of the Pacers right here, everybody. Joey Molinaro, porno star.
Yeah.
Did you guys not know that? It was like Ron Jeremy, John Holmes, Joey Molinaro right there. Porno star.
Thanks, John.
How we doing, guys?
Happy Carb Day, JMV.
Did you do a video or something?
Oh, man, I was out there with Hinch and Rossi. We talked to All-American Rejects. They're fired up to be out there, man.
Where's your buddy that always wears no shirt and does all those videos?
He's in L.A., man. He's Hollywood. He's Hollywood, dude. I'm so happy to be with you, John. Happy Carb Day, man.
Yeah, right back at you, too. Joey Molinaro, Chris Denari is here as well. Chris Hagan is with us, too. But telling you, this is what it's like every single year, is it not, Chris?
No, I'm here every year, but it even makes it better because it's Racers and Pacers.
There you go. Come on. My man knows how to get the crowd primed right there. Come on.
You know, and reliving, you know, for the last 24 hours, I've relived what I watched at home.
Yeah.
It's tough. Let me tell you, I don't know how all of you guys are fans, because when I'm doing a job, I'm nervous during the game, but I have a job to do, right? I'm doing a TV broadcast. When I'm sitting in my living room, pacing up and down, that is maybe the toughest thing I've ever had to do. And when that ball hit the rim and went straight up in the air and came down,
oh yeah,
I think all of Carmel could have heard me scream.
Let me tell you what happened with that too, Chris. Jim Irsay's hand guided that SOB home, did it not, on Wednesday night? Guided that thing to be true, because there's no way in the world that thing goes any other time.
No
way.
You play basketball all the time. You have taken
mine go straight in.
Many a shot.
You don't got to worry about the rim.
And to see that ball go straight up in the air, I think it went 7 feet in the air, they said. Just a remarkable win. And now, game 2 tonight. I'll be down at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. We have a sold-out crowd coming to a watch party. You know, love to see this team come back 2-0, because Sunday is going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Yes.
You have the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500 and Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
And everybody out here is going to be so hungover. Like the second win's going to happen on Sunday night, right?
They're just not going to stop.
Well, here's the thing, though. I trust everybody out here, because these are hardcore partiers right here. Yeah. They're not going to let just a little bit of a daily double work on a Sunday get in the way of having one hell of a good time.
Yeah, so, you know, we haven't had it very often, but when you have it, it's special. And hopefully it's a special day and night.
And here's what's great about it this year. Since the race is airing live on Fox 59, you can either come to the race, go home and watch the game, or you can be on your couch enjoying your Jello shots or whatever it is. You can watch the race live, then watch the game live. So it really has just fallen into place perfectly.
Yeah, so it's going to be an unbelievable day. And, you know, what this Pacers team has done, I mean, there's a true belief that they can win a championship. I really believe that.
Do you remember in the summer when I had to talk the Pacers into running this back? I mean, do you think Chad Buchanan and Kevin Pritchard ever say, you know, we're lucky we have JMV in this market?
You're getting a ring.
He's
it's
not.
all because of you.
I mean, I should get a ring.
They're getting
you
a ring.
I said, run this back. Run this back. Don't worry about going out in free agency. You guys are good the way that it is. Here we are.
Here we are.
And here's the thing. They didn't even finish in the top 12. The top 12 in front offices. They didn't even get a vote.
Well, I mean, a guy got his ass fired that finished in the top 12.
That's fake stuff. Yeah. Chris, did you not see, though, when you're watching in Carmel in overtime, the Knicks had their soul taken from them, didn't they? You could see it in their eyes. Yes. They were dead. They were dead. They had the soul taken from them, didn't they?
I think they did it just sort of like Cleveland had its soul ripped out.
Yes.
I mean, what's remarkable is what we've seen. 3 times the Bucks series, the Cavs series, and now this series, we have seen unbelievable comebacks. And we could go over all the numbers. They're crazy. But it has put the Pacers in position. Again, you got to take care of business. Still a long series. But if you can get tonight, you might have just sucked the soul right out of it.
Joey, there was a time, Karl Anthony Towns, he was having his moment with the fans, and he was yelling. And I was like, that's the wrong team to be celebrating against right now. As Chris pointed out, there's been twice already. They're like, never in a million years. None of these things have ever happened. And that's what happens in playoff basketball. And this Pacer team, they don't care if they're down 10 with 6 seconds. They're not going to think it's over. And that's what I think has made not only true blue Pacer fans, but you travel a lot, nationwide. I think there's a lot of folks that for at least this postseason, they've jumped on the bandwagon.
What I also wanted to say is some people out here, you may not pay attention in March and April. The comeback wins against Brooklyn, against teams of lesser means. But those wins in March and April at the end of the regular season, I think gave this team a lot of confidence that no matter what the score is, they can come back. They are 6-0 this year in the playoffs in clutch games. And what that means is games decided, plus or minus 5 minutes to play. They won 9 of their last 10 in the regular season. The only loss, the LeBron tip-in at the buzzer. So this team has won 15 of its last 16 clutch games because I just think, to JMV's point, they have a true belief, they have a camaraderie, and they are together. And that comes from keeping this group together.
It's a team. By the way, Cam, thanks for the water right here. Is that a hint?
That was sent over by management.
Cam just comes over and goes, hey, here's your water right here. So I think there's a hint. Well, this is a team, and it's very unlike Chris, what we have seen across the NBA landscape. I mean, it is a team that doesn't have, it has an elite level star, because I think Halliburton is an elite level star, but it's not in the same fashion or the same form as you normally see it or describe it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sum is greater than its parts.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyrese will tell you that. Pascal will tell you that. Do they have 2 All-Stars? Yes. I mean, Siakam's a 3-time All-Star. Ty is a 2-time All-Star. But they understand that it's all the other guys that make it happen. It's when Obi Toppin comes off the bench, T.J. McConnell, those types of things. So I really think that's a key for this team. Hopefully will be a key in this series, and hopefully even in the NBA Finals if they can get there.
Chris, as someone who, obviously, you're with this team every game, when Andrew Nembhard got that ball in the corner in overtime when the Pacers were down 4.
Yeah, that was huge.
And he was taking that shot. Was there any doubt in your mind that he was hitting that? Because for me, I was like, that's going in.
No, I mean, you look at what Andrew Nembhard has done in the postseason, what he did a year ago, and what he's done this year. No, I had no doubt.
Yeah.
I thought he has complete confidence. His teammate Tyrese Halliburton has complete confidence. All of a sudden, what could have been a 4 to 6 point deficit was 1.
Yep.
Do you know, Denary, the Pacers have only been to the NBA Finals once. It was 25 years ago this year. In the first round, they beat the Bucks in 5. This year, they beat the Bucks in 5.
Yeah.
In the conference finals, they played the Knicks.
Yeah.
It is all lining up. The numerology is in place. But I've got to ask you guys, are the NBA executives, you talk about, conspiracies, are they excited about an OKC Indiana NBA Finals?
They hate it, and it's just like dollars and cents, right? But who gives a damn?
Yep.
It's about the best teams overall. They can't do a damn thing about it.
Now, I will say
Don't
that
care.
I saw yesterday that, and again, New York's in it. We understand New York's the biggest market in the NBA. But the TV rating nationally, I have not seen the local TV rating yet, but the TV rating nationally was the highest for an Eastern Conference Game 1 since, 2018. So, I mean, the TV rating was huge, and the Pacers were a part of that. I'm assuming that the TNT rating locally, we won't see that until next week, was big as well.
Joey, I got to ask you this. We saw all these stars sitting courtside in New York City. You're our guy. Are you going to be sitting there courtside and they'll show you on the big screen like Ben Stiller?
You're going to sit next to Sting?
Hell no. I got a ways to go, and I got 2 kids that are 2 and under, so I'm definitely not going to be down there.
I got one
man.
for you. I've loved you from the start before you got as big as you are now, and you're still the same guy, to me at least. You came out with the Nick Saban. That opened the doors for you. Have you gotten, I like to hear unique voices, and I can tell, I'm not putting you on the spot. Have you been working on a Kurt Signetti because he's got a little something going on.
He's got the Pittsburgh. He's got the Pittsburgh. He's
We
got
got to go over there. We got to play. We're not afraid of Ohio State. We'll go over there and play Ohio State.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that Pittsburghese. No, I don't. I'm still working on JMV, man. JMV's a legend. I'm still working on that.
I don't know. Don't hurt my feelings out here.
I'm still working on JMV, and I'm just so glad to be here, man. John, I listen to you every day, and my man right there, Cam, he calls in all the time, and it's just awesome to be here, man. It's the Pacers and the Racers. It's not about me. It's about the race cars out there and the Pacers tonight, man.
Does Cam hoop? Right.
That's Cam right there,
See,
right there.
I've got a group of dudes that like don't show up and they like wimp out, like James Boyd or a morning show.
Oh, he'll hoop with you. Yeah, hey, Cam.
Well, James Boyd calls me at 12:30 in the morning.
I know.
And says,
I
I'm
hear.
too tired. I can't play.
Or he don't respond to
so
you.
I mean, we had to punt him. I can't have that.
Punt him.
Now, Joey, what I would ask, we know that athletes watch a lot of videotape to get ready for their game.
Yeah.
Do you watch, I'm assuming, a lot of videotape of Nick Saban, all those that you're going to do their voices and all
totally. I try to pick up a little intricacies, you know what I mean? Like with JMV, it's always the jackassery. I love talking about the jackassery.
I just make up my own language.
The dumbassery, the jackassery. That's my favorite about JMV.
Jackassery.
That's we always get that fired up in the group chat. You know, if Benedict Mathurin is being a problem child out there, we'll say, hey, Benedict, too much jackassery out there.
Chill out on the jackassery.
Now, is there anything you've had to do differently about JMV since he's lost 80 pounds?
Look at this man. It's amazing. Wow, he looks fantastic.
Listen, you should see me naked.
All right.
Holy crap.
Good night, everybody.
It's a cottage cheese, baby. It's a cottage cheese. Hey, you're right about the salmon. The salmon?
I'm telling you, man.
Salmon's
I'm telling
phenomenal.
ya.
Salmon
and broccoli?
cheese.
Salmon and hickory smoked tuna. Christian
I was mowing the lawn yesterday. I think the other day I sent you a text, right?
Yesterday I was a mess.
I was mowing the lawn.
My tooth broke yesterday during the show. That was problematic.
And I heard about salmon and cottage cheese again. I mean, that's.
I know.
That's amazing.
That's why I got Daisy Brand back in the fall. Hey, you guys want to hang out here for a minute too?
Yeah, I got.
Let's hang out with them too because I want to talk a little bit about the 109th running of the 500. We'll do that on this side. Joey Molinaro, Chris Denary, Chris Hagan, JMV, Pagoda Plaza. You guys. We'll do a shot for everybody coming up in just a second. Do not go anywhere. We got Andretti Global is going to join us at the 5 o'clock hour. We're all going over to see Brett Michaels and the All-American Rejects as well. And then we're going to Main Street to watch our good friend Clayton Anderson, who's going to be here a little bit later on as well. You guys sit tight. 2025, Pagoda Plaza, Carb Day is upon us on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Look at all those ding-dongs.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Nathaniel, who's back at the station working things incredibly for me today. Nathaniel, thank you very much. Busy show for you, too. We're going to work in a lot of Pacers, mixed conversation, game 2 later on tonight. But, of course, we got the 109th running of the greatest spectacle in racing in Turn 4. Chris Denari, Fox 59, Chris Hagan, Joey Molinaro, porno star. I'm JMV. Like that.
Hey, John.
That's problematic for me right here, so let's start with the race. Go ahead, Hagan.
You can watch that live on Fox 59 coverage begins at 5 a.m. But right now, shout out to Nicole. She made 269.
Well done, Nicole. Thank you.
And I'm about to throw one deep here, so heads up, everybody.
All right. There's nobody out there that's going to catch
Throwing
that.
down the gullet, or are you throwing it off? Oh, he's throwing him. I thought he was putting him down the gullet.
Are we going to do that right here? Am I going to have to keep on talking?
Oh, there's a fumble.
We got a play-by-play.
Denari, turn 5. Or turn 5. Yeah, oh my God.
This is turn 5 right here.
Turn 4, game 4.
That would be a problem if I was in turn 5.
Chris Denari is in turn 5. Turn 4 coming up on Sunday. And then you have the Pacers and the Racers thing.
Yeah.
This has to be an incredible dynamic for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing the game on Sunday night, of course. It's a TNT game with Kevin Harlan, Reggie, which I think is so cool. That Reggie Miller, 25 years after the Pacers beat the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals, that he's on the broadcast. But yeah, I will be there. But she's trying to give me. That's to Hagan. Yeah.
Joe,
I think that's for you. No.
No, I've got a job to do tonight. We've got the big party at Gainbridge Field.
Yeah,
Take the picture for him. Take the picture.
Wanted to prime you.
Yeah,
and I'll drink it. Then I'll drink it.
Daenerys only drinking Connecticut water right now.
No, we don't. It's Kroger.
The two
Kroger
dogs in
water
the
now.
Connecticut water, baby. Legendary
It's
commercials.
Kroger water now, isn't it, buddy?
I still have Connecticut in my house. So, but yeah, 25. So I don't have a job to do Pacers related on Sunday. I'll be at the game. The question is, how quickly can I get out of the media lot downtown? But I think if the weather stays the way it's supposed to be, the race is over by 4 o'clock, easily can make it 8 o'clock tip.
Well, do you remember, Denari? I think we still work together when you had the race, a conference finals game, and a tornado.
Yes, yeah. Was it 2004?
It was when Buddy Rice won.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the parking lot where the Alexander is now, and I saw all of that happen.
I remember, Chris, Tom Carnegie was like, leave
he said
now.
He was saying, Buddy Rice, a fine champion. Run for your lives.
A fine champion.
Give it up for Buddy Rice. You must leave the building immediately. That was the only time I ever heard Daenerys say a cuss word. We were trying to get out of here, and somebody cut Daenerys off, and it was like hearing Mr. Rogers say a cuss word. I was like, oh, no, what happened?
But to your point, John, Carburation Day today, we were out in all 4 corners, and it seemed like race day. I mean, as
Very
much
racy.
as these guys ran today, and you know who was very fast?
Joseph Newgarden.
Joseph Newgarden.
Yep.
He was.
And I thought to myself, I go, wouldn't it be apropos? The Pacers have made these great comebacks.
Yeah.
And things that have never happened in the history of the NBA playoffs.
Yep.
What about if Joseph Newgarden, in the history of the 500, wins from the last row?
It would be a double dip. First one to win 3. First one to win from the back.
I'm sorry,
row.
I got to get a dog. I got to go out and get a dog.
Or a personality.
Can I
Either
get
way.
a personality dog? One of the two.
Hey,
right here.
GB.
Sorry to interrupt.
So what?
I got to get a dog.
Chris,
the hell?
You're looking at it though from turn 4 though. Right now, as the 109th comes up on Sunday though, who are you besides Joseph? Who's someone that you're keeping your eye on that you say, you know what, I think they got a pretty good shot?
Well, just following the month, but it sounded like he didn't have a great day. I mean, Connor Daly. I mean, I think from a local standpoint, but I thought Pelot looked good today.
Yep.
Scott Dixon is Scott Dixon, though he hasn't won in, 15 years, 16 years.
Is he kind of the Peyton Manning of IndyCar?
Needing a second.
Dixon.
Needing, a second win?
Got one.
He's got one.
Been a long time. End of his career.
Yeah.
Needs a second.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you the other guy that was really good early in practice today was Sato. Takuma Sato was really good. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how the race starts with a rookie on the pole.
That's what everybody's watching because that's a big part of it. How he attacks that, and I know he's got Ryan Briscoe who started from the pole here, talking with him. But that is somebody else on the pole, a veteran guy, you kind of know what to expect. Now, you can't win the race on the first lap, but you can damn sure lose it. And that's what you need to keep an eye out. Talking about Connor Daly, I talked to him yesterday at Media Day, and he said, look me in the eye, he said, I feel like I have a car that can win this race. And that's something drivers, they don't just come out and say that unless they really believe it. As far as Dixon goes, I mean, he's had the runner-up finishes, runner-up under yellow flag that kind of doesn't give him a chance to go race for it. And I joked with him. I said, the knock on you is you've only won the 500 once. But there's a ton of guys that have never won the 500, so it's not like that's some kind of blight on your resume, Joe. But like you said, some people say, oh, yeah, but he's only won it once with all these great starts and pole positions. So he's been quietly under the radar. And he said he liked it that way. He could go out there and win this thing. As far as Joseph goes, we know he knows how to race out here. We know he's got a fast car. They just put another roadblock, no pun intended, in front of him, but he'll pass cars. There's a lot of pit stops in this race. There are crazy things that happen, and I wouldn't at all be surprised with 50 laps to go if he's not in that top 15, top 10, where he's got a shot to go.
John, what I do want to tell you is, during this month, you guys, after every Pacers game, your producers put together awesome opens to your show.
So sure.
I want to tell you what, I had a chance to listen to the open of the radio broadcast on Sunday.
Right.
Corbin Lingenfelter put it together.
Yeah.
Mark Janes voiced it. It is powerful.
Yeah.
I hope everybody, when you turn on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan for Sunday and you're here or wherever you are listening, make sure you listen to this open, because it is absolutely fantastic. The mix of former highlights, current drivers, Mark Jane's voice, I'm telling you what, it is spectacular.
Let me ask you this real quick while we got everybody here. There's a prop bet you can make. You take the over-under of the car number to win the race. The over-under is 9.5. Would you take that under, which would give you Dixon, Pato, McLaughlin, Lundgaard, or do you think the winning car number will be over 9.5?
Doesn't give you Pillow, though, right? Because
he's number 10.
Wow, that's
it pays. It's plus 110, so you make a little bit more than you bet. I really like that bet because I think
I'll take the under.
You got 4 drivers in there that
because you like Pato is why.
I like Pato and I like Dixon.
You got Scott Dixon there.
Yeah.
He's gonna get his second in my mind.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of when it could be on Sunday.
That also gives you McLaughlin, the only Penske not pushed to the back. So I like that bet. If you're out there so inclined, I would jump on that one.
Okay, by the way, quick one. The shop over here, I don't know if they still have them or not. The JMV Sucks 2025 Carb Day T-shirts.
Got a few right here, John.
Too.
Yep.
We got that. Thank you, D. Thank you, J-Law, right there. You guys are looking good. And an old school one right there with Jeremiah. Chad is there. The lovely Melissa. Man, Jeremiah outkicked his coverage like crazy right there. We'll come back after 4. After 4, we got Eddie Gill, bottom of the hour. We'll talk more Knicks Pacers coming up later on tonight.
Give her JMV, the man right here.
These guys are going to hang a little bit longer if you guys want to. We can do that. Pagoda Plaza, Brett Michaels, All-American Rejects coming up a little bit later on. But right now we are here. We're going to do a shot coming up once again. Coming up in a bit. You guys all cool to hang?
I can hang.
As long as you want me, JMV.
Yeah, we'll do that. Joey Molyneux,
man.
Chris Hagan, Chris Denary. We'll come back coming up after 4 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. My name is... Listen, first of all, there's way too much evidence going down right here. That's like a camera. Yeah.
I did not know.
There's a camera. Shout out to B Swift 100.9 right over here right now. B Swift is my pods right here. Great dude, great show of the afternoon on Hot 100.9. That is B Swift right here. Joey Molinaro, Chris Hagan, Chris Denari. Thank you all for joining us on this Carb Day 2025. We've got Eddie Gill live from NYC coming up at the bottom of the hour. The former NBA guard, Pacers Radio's got you later on tonight. Molinaro's
I need you to walk this line. I need to see you walk this line back.
Right here.
Touch your nose.
So we've hit on 109. Greatest spectacle of racing.
Yeah.
Pacers Knicks later on tonight.
Yep.
Chris Denari, lead us to where you want to go next.
I think tonight, let's go tonight, then we can go back to the 500 because that's why we're here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But, I'm excited to see how both teams or anticipate how both teams respond tonight. There are always adjustments that have been made. I want to go back to game one, and I heard you talking about this. Rick Carlisle outcoached Tom Thibodeau.
He did.
In game one. I mean, the adjustments they made, bringing Obi Toppin in. I thought Miles played well. He had a couple of mistakes late, but the way the matchups were, Toppin was perfect down the stretch in that game.
Miles fumbled that pass, and that's when he went to Toppin.
Right.
But then he went down and had that block. I mean, you go from could have been up 6, and then Nimhart hits that corner 3, and you're down 1.
I mean, I just think the way that the Pacers, and especially Rick, manages the rotations, I think was really, really good. And so I'm interested to see what adjustments are made tonight by the Knicks, and then how the Pacers respond to those.
How much they got a lot from their bench in game one, Chris. New York.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't usually get that from them. Do you think that they're going in tonight and saying like, okay, that was a unusual occurrence from our bench for the Knicks?
Well, we know Mitchell Robinson's going to give you board work.
They go too deep. That's it.
The 2 shots that Cameron Payne hit.
Correct.
And it was. What did Kevin Harlan say? Cameron Payne hasn't made a shot since game 1, and then he hits 2.
Right.
But no, I would agree with that. I think one of the keys is rebounding. I thought the Pacers, they were only out rebounded by 6, and I think the Pacers had more second chance points than the Knicks.
They did.
But you also, from when you start thinking about anomalies of a series, I don't think you can count on Nesmith to hit 8 out of 9 threes again. So
6 in the fourth quarter.
Adjustments get made, but there is going to be somebody, to Joey's point, in every playoff game, like in back to 2000, when the Pacers avoid getting beat in the first round as a 1 seed, it was Travis Best that hits the game-winning 3. So in every series and in every game, there's going to be a guy that wasn't on exactly on the game plan that's going to get hot or make a big shot or have something crazy happen. So I don't think I know the Pacers are happy, of course, to take one, but take game 1. I don't think they can do any premature celebrating as if this series is over. But I think if they win tonight, then you can really start thinking about you are clearly in the driver's seat.
Well, especially when you see what the Knicks did in the first 2 series, winning on the road in Detroit, winning on the road in Boston. That's been the real story of these NBA playoffs, is the ability of the road team to win. I mean, think about it, guys. The Pacers are 5-1 on the road in the NBA playoffs. That's almost unheard of that you would have that good of a record. But if you flip the script, New York in the first 2 series was very strong on the road as well.
I think the biggest stat is 9-2 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Pacers. I mean, that's unheard of. You'll see the series go, 6-7 games, and you've kind of gone, tooth and nail. But to go out there and dominate their first 2 series and now go win on the road, as hot as you can be in the playoffs, and they were hot down the stretch of the regular season. This isn't something new. So since late March, they've clearly been the team to beat, and they've gone out there and proven it.
The Pacers, since they lost 3 straight games, they lost 3 straight right around early March. The road trip, 2 in Atlanta, 1 in Chicago. Since they are 24-6.
Wow.
Counting the end of the regular season, they were 15-4, and as you said, they're 9-2 in the playoffs. So they've won 24 of their last 30 games. That's how well they've played.
And it's not been against chumps on the court, John. This is premier high-stress games, high-leverage moments, down big late, and they just continue. But somehow, as you said earlier, once again, a 5.5-point underdog.
They've had good fortune production on their side, too.
No, they have.
That's what you got to take advantage of.
Well, I thought
stuff that just simply put doesn't happen.
Well, here's the thing. Rick did a great job in managing his challenges. Those were 2 huge challenges on Wednesday. And then you got some help with Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby each missing a free throw. You have to take advantage
They were scared.
of those opportunities.
See it in their eyes. They didn't want
Yeah,
you could
now
see it in their
tonight,
eyes.
I don't know how many of you, there's a watch party. I'll be at Cambridge Fieldhouse. I don't know if you've seen the gold out shirt.
Yeah.
It's got the race, what does it say, Froome, for Sunday. Froome baby. So, I mean, John, this is the best. I've done this out here with you guys, I don't know how many years now, but this is the best when you have both the race and the Pacers going on.
Oh, by the way, the Fever have a game on
Yeah, there'll
Saturday.
just be like 17,000 again tomorrow at Cambridge Fieldhouse.
So that's why I'm announcing my home is up for Airbnb, $50 a night. Come on by, BYOB.
JMV, are you doing both on Sunday?
I am doing both. I got 6 a.m. with Tony Katz right here until 11, and then I got to do Pacer pregame too.
Yeah. Are you going to the game though?
I'm going to the game.
Tommy S.
I mean, what I'm going with Tommy S to game 4.
Now let me ask you. I've heard this. Are you like undefeated right
I'm unbeaten with Tommy. When I go, the owner of Coach's Tavern is Tom Sutton. When I go to the game with Tom Sutton, we're unbeaten.
So are you going with him on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay.
Sunday.
I love that.
I'm going with somebody else on Tuesday.
But you could say you're going with Tommy S.
Yeah, I
on
could
Tuesday.
say that. So in the seats of Tommy S., the owner of Coach's Tavern, the Pacers are unbeaten.
I just hope John is sitting there and the TNT cameras show JMV like Ben Stiller says JMV, local radio personality.
Local radio dip blank right here. Hey, how you doing? But seriously, though, cooler than Ben Stiller. I mean, come on, man.
What about Tracy Morgan?
Hey,
How about
That was
Sting?
pretty good.
have we heard anything? Do we know if Drew Powell is going to make?
He actually sent me an X message the other day, so I think he's going to be here from what I've heard. So, yeah.
We need to get some of the racers out there too.
Well, I mean, you
man.
saw
After
Jimmy
Sunday,
Fallon
yeah.
make fun of it, right?
Yeah.
So
And then they go out and get their ass beat, so that's great.
I thought this, wouldn't it be, and whoever wins on Sunday, they've got a lot of things happening after the race. If I'm the driver that wins,
There's no question.
I'm at the game
You
on
gotta be
Sunday
there.
night, right?
Well, here's
In
what-
your fire suit. In the milk.
I don't want to see a bunch of orange and blue in the stands either. That's what I'm concerned about coming up on Sunday and Tuesday. But orange and blue bull crap. Because you know
won't be.
Spike Lee's going to play top. He's going to be on the sideline somewhere. But I don't want to see a lot of other people in there next man. So it's a bad deal. But no, this has been a spectacular season. And exactly, if you go back to last summer, what I thought it was going to be. These guys are different. These guys are special. And you may look at them as having the biggest set of balls as we've seen with a group around here because they just don't quit. It's really like the Terminator.
No, it is. And, you know, look at a guy like Aaron Nesmith. I am sure, and I talked to Brad Stevens, you know, a few years ago. They made the trade to get Brogdon. Eventually, they got Drew Holiday. He told me that was one of the hardest trades he ever had to make because he understood what Aaron Nesmith could be. And we are seeing what Aaron Nesmith is right now. He's a 3-and-D guy and a guy that is so invaluable to this
You
team.
think Brad Stevens regrets that now?
Short term, no. Long term, probably.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let's go back to the Sabonis trade, Halliburton trade. How monumental is that? And obviously, would you agree the Pacers won that trade?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, from the standpoint, Domas is a heck of a player. We know
Great
that.
guy.
But the Pacers needed somebody like Tyrese who is the mindset of Reggie.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Totally.
I
He
mean,
gets guys going
Yes.
that can't do it 100% of the time on their own.
and he is a team-first guy. I mean, this is a two-time All-Star, a guy who can score, but he has as much. You know, he said a few years ago, I want to help guys get paid too.
He's the orchestrator.
Yeah, and you and I are in 100% agreement that Miles Turner has become a better player with Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, but there's no doubt about it. I mean, think about this for a moment. Think about when he was in Nate Bjorkgren's half-ass offense with Malcolm Brogdon.
As a fever
And
dream.
you know that you're not going to get the ball back. You know that he's not a willing passer, and now it's a lot different. They had him staked out in the corner when he and Sabonis were on the same team at the same time. it's just drastically different. And this is, I think, upped his career, Chris, to where a lot of people thought he was never going to get. I mean, he's going to be in the rafters, or should be in the rafters now. And a lot of that is because of the relationship and the trade of Tyrese Halliburton.
I've said this, and I hope Miles has a long Pacers career. He's played 10 years. I hope it's another 10 or whatever it is. I firmly believe that Miles Turner will be, at the end of his career, one of the most beloved Pacers in franchise history. I truly believe that, for what he's done on the floor, for what he does off the floor, how much he loves this city. I truly believe that.
And you know what? I like numbers, as you know. Why are all the Pacer jerseys hanging up there in the 30s? Have you ever noticed that? He's number 33. You got 31 up there.
It's a good spot to be.
Yeah. Well, somehow we got to get Miles to the Hall of Fame then, because, you know, all those jerseys.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
we win the title this year. He's on his way.
If Nate Bjorkgren walked up right now, would anybody recognize him?
Jeez.
Is Nate Bjorkgren out there? Because
I think we'd see him. Yeah, he'd be sunburned on the top of his head.
That was a lost season in many ways, but it goes back
fever
to
dream.
The genius of getting Rick back here.
Yeah.
That was like the last bad decision I think this organization maybe made.
I mean, think about it.
It was COVID. We all made bad decisions.
Think about a few years ago. We were at the Ascension St. Vincent Center, and Kevin Pritchard invited all the media to come in, and just he wanted to be honest, and he said, look, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to rebuild. And that was 3 years ago, and here we are, back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals with a legitimate shot to get to the NBA Finals. Says a lot about what the front office has done, what the coaching staff has done, what the players have done, and I can't wait. I hope it's too overnight.
You got to seize the moment, because, like we said, it's been 25 years since they were in the NBA Finals. It's so hard to get there and hard to get back.
This is the golden era.
This is the time to do it.
You've got the Fever.
Yeah.
You got the Pacers, and then you have an Eastern Conference where they're searching in Milwaukee for another star, where Boston and Jason Tatum's already gone lost for the season. This is the time to take advantage of it. This is the golden era for Pacer sports and entertainment.
Yeah,
Chris.
no question. I mean, it is. You want to take advantage of a window that you have, and clearly the window opened a little bit earlier than maybe any of us thought. I hope this window's open for a number of years to go. But most of all, we're in the now, and we need to take advantage of that now.
What's the piece, though, John?
Yeah.
You always say about going into the luxury tax. What's the piece, though?
What's the piece?
Yeah.
Well, to me, you bring back everybody you can on this team. I don't know why you want to jack with it. Now, I don't know how far you can. I don't know who else. Here's the thing. You want to build something, go into the luxury tax if you're Steven Simon. Easy for me to say. However, what can you add? Because players like to play with somebody that is willing, elite level passer like Tyrese Halliburton. So who is out there that coming up at the end of this year might want to play here because of the style and because of, again, of the orchestrator at Halliburton? I mean, I just think that's a window that is open now that maybe Chris has never been open.
Well, go back to last year. Pascal Siakam wanted to play with Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner.
Exactly.
He wanted to come to Indianapolis. He wanted to re-sign with the Pacers. So it shows you the value of what the Pacers have built, what Tyrese Halliburton means to this franchise, and I think that's really, really cool. I mean, and so to your point, John, you're in a situation where you want to take advantage of the now, right? But you're also looking ahead to the future. But right now, all I'm concerned about is 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
When
Game 2.
I was at a finals game. It was Golden State in Cleveland, and over in Cleveland, they had like 16 little check marks. You have to win 16 games to win it all, which I thought was crazy, but they did it. So now, even Carlisle pointed this out when they won hey, you're 8 games away from winning it all. So if you look at the big picture, they've already won 9 playoff games. They need 7 more.
Right.
They're more than halfway there. They got a lead in this series, so it's crazy to think about how long this franchise, all the great talent, beloved players that have come through here, and to be close perhaps once again. I mean, you strike while the iron's hot. Worry about next year's roster next year. Right now, get everybody out there. You're deep. You're playing well. Maybe some guys do get paid from a great run in this thing, and they move on. But right now, it's all about go get it.
Pagoda Plaza is our location. 2025 Carb Day. Chris Denari, voice of the Pacers. Chris Hagan, Fox 59. Porn star Joey Molinaro is here. I'm JMV. I do want to talk a little bit before we go to break about the 500 coming up on Sunday as well. Maybe not so much about that. You guys have talked about Joseph Newgarden. I'm going with Felix because he's got Creed on his car. I think that's going to be the difference coming up on Sunday. But where else are we going? As far as all this has been news-wise, you look back. And again, RIP to Jim Irsay, who brought so much and made this a football city in which that it is right now, who passed away a couple of days ago. But you look at where this city is and the news that came out 2 days ago. I mean, you got the biggest stories we've had all year long, basically all in one day, guys.
Yeah, I worked with Chris at Channel 59 at Fox 59 for a couple of years, and for you guys, I mean, all this hits in one day. You've got the Fever and Caitlin Clark off to the start. You've got the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. You have the 109th running, what happened with Roger Penske's team, and then Jim Irsay passes away. You've been here 20-plus years. You've probably never seen a time like you've seen the last couple of days.
It's been 25 years since I've been here. I would say the only thing that kind of rivaled that was when I was in Las Vegas for the IndyCar finale, and we lost Dan Weldon. That was just a horrible day, and you have so much more going on. But you're right. The lead story that night was going to be Roger Penske moved to the back, reaction to that, and then we get the news about Mr. Irsay, and then all of a sudden one of the greatest comebacks. Yeah. So that lineup in your show for the news and sports, when they overlap, that changed about 5 or 6 times in a period of about 1 hour, and that's what's so great about this time of the year and so bittersweet about this time of the year. You're trying to celebrate the enthusiasm for the Fever, the Pacers run. It's race week, but as I said on the air yesterday, it just has a bittersweet feeling when you think about nobody loved the Colts more than Jim Irsay, and nobody loved this city more than Jim Irsay. As far as he wasn't just about the Colts, he loved the Pacers, he loved the 500. He had entrenched himself in this community. So yeah, there will be. I don't know what kind of mention we'll have perhaps on race day. I don't know what perhaps the Pacers will do when they come back for Game 3 here. But yeah, that is something you're always going to remember where you were when you heard that news. Just kind of a seismic shift now in the landscape of the NFL and for the Colts especially.
All right, so who can say who has to go?
I need to go because I've got to get downtown.
Downtown for
I'll go because this is your show, John, and I just appreciate you being
as
here.
long as you want.
I've got
somebody may have to take over at 5 o'clock too, because I think I'm starting to slur my words a little bit.
I've got watch party duties, 8 o'clock, Cambridge Fieldhouse.
Yes.
It's sold out. We'll be there watching on the big screen. I'll be nervous. Maybe some of you will be there as well. But here's
what's your prediction, Chris?
I predict Pacers win again tonight, just like
I think they do. I think they do too.
Yeah.
I think they do too.
Suck their souls right out of them. Suck New York souls right out of them.
Man, Sting's gonna go home all pissed off tonight, Molinaro.
Come on, I'm glad he did.
may join police.
What
get
about
police back together?
What about
after
Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah,
I don't even know who that is. Who is that wussy, by the way?
All of them.
What is he in?
They can all take their Louis
Is he like is he a superhero or something?
He was in Dune. He was Bob Dylan.
Man, John Hamm is from like Kansas City.
That's what I'm saying. John Hamm is
he's
out there.
such a butt sniff. Seriously. John Hamm. He does actually seem like a pretty dude.
He's a funny guy.
His show's good. Your Friends and Neighbors is good on Apple TV.
What's
but
he
don't
on?
act like
What
you're
did John Hamm do? Oh, he did
Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Mad Men, but he's got a new one on Apple TV. It's a good show. It honestly is. But don't go into Madison Square Garden and act like you're a Knicks fan.
haven't watched anything
You're from
since
St.
Seinfeld.
Louis,
Yeah,
dude. Get out.
He's from St. Louis and not Kansas City? Oh,
Whatever.
Sudeikis is from Kansas City,
all
right?
suck.
Paul Rudd's
all
from
the
KC.
St. Louis and Kansas City.
Is Paul Rudd go to those games too?
No, he's from Kansas City. He's a big Chiefs guy.
All right, quick break. We'll come back. Hagen, you staying?
I got one more segment left.
One more segment. I know Denari is leaving. Molinaro, what are you doing? Molinaro's leaving.
I'll stay.
He's got one
He'll
more.
stay as well. We got Eddie Gill coming up on the other side from NOIC. Game 2 of the Pace of the Knicks later on tonight. And we got Andretti Global coming up here in the 5 o'clock hour. And we're going to go over and watch Brett Michaels and the All-American Rejects coming up here a little bit later on, too. But go to Plaza 2025. I tell you what, Nathaniel, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll get Eddie Gill ready to go for game number 2 later on tonight. This reminder, tomorrow, the JMV Takeover on B105.7 is not too far far from here down in the Coke Lot. We've got the Bronze Fun Time Camper that is going to be our home base all weekend long in the Coke Lot. A Drive, first intersection, that's where we're going to be all weekend of the JMV Takeover tomorrow night. The All Request Saturday night on B105.7. And then right here coming up on Sunday morning, pre-race coverage on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan and 93 WIBC. Me, Tony Katz, Terry Stacy, and a cast of thousands, including Matt Bear at Traffic. We'll get you here. We'll talk up the biggest stories for the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. Hagan rejoins Eddie Gill from NYC on the other side. You guys, we'll do another shot here, you guys thinking maybe? Do another shot. I'm looking. Hey, I've got shot material right here. You guys want to do another one? We'll do it coming up on the other side. Sit tight. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. On stage with Brett Michaels, All-American Rejects, Carb Day 2025. IMS.com. Well, I mean, really, if you're outside right now, just get your ass here. What are you doing? Why are you not here already? This is where the party is happening. Eddie Gill and NYC, Pacers Radio, 8 o'clock tonight, Game 2. Pacers and Knicks, Madison Square Garden. Eddie Gill is going to join us coming up in a couple of minutes. Nathaniel, tell me whenever Eddie is ready. 7:30 coverage here on The Fan later on tonight. Chris Hagan rejoins. Hello, Chris.
Hello, JMV.
Tony Donahue, friend of the show. Friend of mine, everybody.
We're
Tony
back.
Donahue, a round of applause.
Race fans,
right
we're
here.
back. We're back.
So,
don't tell anybody.
Unverified is the podcast. You can find Tony D and David Land.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what do we start about what happened today, too? Everybody's like getting a big sports arousal, motorsports arousal regarding Joseph Newgarden. Is that where we start?
Well, I wanted to make a case to just have him start 33rd, so if he did come through the field to win, he started last. But it'll still be, if he does win, you know, the furthest back that anybody's ever started.
Was it that impressive today?
He looks really good. He looks really good in traffic. The hybrid's working. But it's so tough. There's a reason why nobody's ever run one from the back row. I know there's been drivers that have came close, but man, he's got his work cut out for him because it's just so easy to get caught in somebody else's mess back there. It's so easy to get caught in a mumble jumble on the pit stop. So we'll see. I would be extremely impressed if he wins from 32nd, but I'm not going to pick him.
More on that in a second. Chris Hagan, Tony Donahue, JMV, Pagoda Plaza, IMS. Of course, it's Carb Day 2025, and on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, former NBA guard, Pacers Radio, Pacers TV, staked out in NYC. Game 2, Eastern Conference Finals tonight. Madison Square Garden. The Pacers up a game of that best of 7. Let's bring on board Eddie Gill. Hello, Eddie. How are you, buddy?
Fantastic. How's everything going? A lot of
roughness back there. I think we're all kind of half in the bag right here, so hopefully you can handle that.
Let's see what you got.
Listen, you played for so many years in the NBA. How difficult might you think it will be for New York to bounce back from that nut kick that they got on Wednesday night?
Yes, you would think that they'll be able to respond and come out with a certain level of toughness and continue to play and just get over the shock and awe of what happened to them a couple nights ago. I mean, it was a ridiculous finish to that game. Another one in which we've seen for the Pacers. But yeah, it's a major gut punch for the you come out on the losing end of that, understanding that that's never happened in terms of how they gave up that lead, but. They got a tough-minded group. I expect them to come out and swing a haymaker here tonight.
Hey, Eddie, Chris Hagan, Fox 59. I was wondering about Cleveland couldn't come back from that, improbable blown lead they had. The Bucks couldn't come back in that series either. Is there something, these are pro athletes, obviously playoffs, you're going to get the best shot, but is there something to be said about, the Ted Lasso, the belief the Pacers have that they're never out of the game, and momentum? Is momentum and belief something real in sports and in a playoff series?
I think there's a 100% a real thing in terms of momentum, confidence, and what you do with it. And beyond that, I mean, the Pacers are a really good team, so I don't think there's nothing fluke about it at this point. They've been able to not only come back and win in that fashion, in those particular series, they also had convincing wins from start to finish. So it's not that they're just relying on these miraculous finishes, although we've probably never seen a team put together as many miraculous finishes as they have in a playoff run and really think about going towards the end of the season. They did it a few times during the regular season. So it's something, this team just doesn't waver at all in terms of their focus and what they're trying to do. They play till there's zeros on the clock, and it's really yielded some positive results for them as we've seen. But I still look to see the Knicks to come out and play hard and try to get back into this series. But, when you drop a game like that, especially when it's, in a 7-game series, you're just that much closer to packing it up.
Funny to me is, you'll see players, and I know if you've done this, in a game you look up and you see the clock, you see the score, and everybody knows that basketball math. You look up, okay, what are we up? We're up 12 minutes to go. Okay, we're good. And I don't know that they don't, it's not like the NFL where you can go into the take a knee offense and just run out the clock. The way it's structured and the way the Pacers have proven, you can look up at that clock and score all you want, and until that thing says triple zeros, that thing is not in the bag, is it?
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
That's what they rely on. And then when you get in these situations, I think the biggest thing is, or not what the biggest thing is, one of the things is you have to have the opponent, they have to clearly make some mistakes, right? And you saw them. So the Knicks go to the free throw lines a number of times, they miss free throws, they turn the ball over. Timely challenges by Rick Carlisle and his staff, and then the heroics of Aaron Nesmith. I think we'd be really missing the boat if we don't mention what he was able to do with 6 3-pointers in that fourth quarter. It's easy to point at the game winner by Halliburton and all the theatrics of it, which he played a tremendous game too. But Aaron Nesmith had a blackout moment throughout that fourth quarter.
Eddie, I'm curious, you go back, you watch film, you go through your walkthroughs. There was a point and there was a reason why they had gotten down double digits. How much is the balance of what we did in the final 3 minutes to come back in that, and also what we need to correct? That was the reason that got us down in double figures late.
Yeah, there's a major, definitely a number of reasons why they ended up getting down and really had to come up with the heroics that they did in the latter part of the game. I think of two particular plays come off the top of my mind is when Obi Toppin misses the dunk, the Knicks come down, they make a three. 2 possessions later or so, Pascal Siakam goes down, misses a layup. They come down and get 2 more free throws. So there's a significant swing there amongst other, blown coverages from a defensive perspective. Brunson and Towns are having a big time game as well. So there's a number of things that they can definitely go back and correct, which also give them some optimism for being able to advance through this series.
So Eddie Gill, Pacers Radio. Later on tonight, Mark Boyle and Pat Boylan have you. 7:30 coverage begins, 8 o'clock. Game 2 Eastern Conference Finals from Madison Square Garden with the Pacers up a game of that best of 7 on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan. Listen, you're not going to be able to live with, though, Brunson and Anthony Towns getting the numbers offensively that they got. What do you do with either coming up in game number 2? Because everybody makes adjustments. Where do you start defensively with those two?
Yeah, I think, they're tough covers, right? These are 2 of the best players in the game. Brunson's arguably one of the best point guards in the game, and Towns is arguably one of the best bigs in the game. So there's, to a certain degree, you just try to make everything as difficult as possible on them, and you live with the results. But if they start getting easy ones, like, for example, Karl Anthony Towns is coming in to trail 3-point shots without someone challenging it, you're asking for trouble. You're continually letting Brunson get to his left hand, you're asking for trouble. The question that I'm waiting to see is, at what point do they start to send multiple bodies to Brunson? Because we saw this with Donovan Mitchell just being able to get to the lane just about any time he wants to. They did a good job of corralling everyone else in that series. And we'll see if they can continue to do that here in this one. But, certainly some scouting report items that they will want to clean up in the remainder of the series.
When, so much excitement for the fan base and the team with that great comeback. But you have to remember, on the flip side, that was a game that for 45 minutes the Knicks were in control and a double-digit lead. So it's not like, they've got nothing, and you're not going to get their best punch. So it would be tremendous to go out there and take this thing 2-0 coming back to Indy. But by no stretch of the imagination is that going to be an easy task tonight, is it?
No, not at all easy. This team is a very good team. They knocked off the defending champs for a reason. And obviously Tatum goes down in one of those games, and he's not there in the last. But the game he went down and the Knicks were up and looked like they had a decent shot of winning that game. So this is a very good team. It can't all be intoxicated or mesmerized by what happened in game 1. That's in the past, with the exception of the things you want to learn from. Because there's a difficult task at hand, but you are definitely in the driver's seat if in some way you're able to go up 2-0 going back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Sunday.
So Eddie Gillis got you on the radio later on tonight. Again, 8 o'clock is that tip time game number 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals with the Pacers and the Knicks, and the Pacers up a game. Hey, you were there. How was the environment? I mean, obviously it always seems electric there. You have the celebrities courtside and all that. But that's another aspect, another layer, Eddie, in which the Pacers have to get through, have to overcome. How was that environment in Game 1, which, again, is the expectation you're going to see the same thing in Game 2 tonight?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's one of the most, rigorous environments or raucous fan bases there is in all of professional sports. And New Yorkers are just a different breed. I was born in New Jersey, so I've been around people from the tri-state area. They're just different people, and I enjoy their spirit and their hunger and everything that they do. But you certainly know it when you walk into that building. And you're right. I mean, you have people who are all the way at the top, who've scraped up every dime and dollar that they can to get into the building, and then you got people all the way down with their feet on the floor, a billionaire. So and everything in between. That's the true meaning of I guess diversity, if you will, in terms of what you have in the building. But everyone is passionate. They want to see their Knicks do well, obviously, and sprinkle in some brave Pacers fans as well.
What do they have to do tonight? I mean, look, I think it's to get off to a fast start, continue to play fast, control Karl Anthony Towns. A guy that I think is going to step up tonight is Miles Turner. What does Miles Turner have to do to ensue victory tonight for the Pacers?
I think what we've seen him do throughout the season. He's got to do a great job of from a defensive standpoint. Do a great job again on Brunson and those ball screen situations. That's a major task for those bigs that are put in that position, because he wreaks so much havoc on your defense, drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line, and he can score from 3-point all the way into the paint. Obviously, really crafty with a scoring there, and then having to deal with Karl Anthony Towns. Those trail 3-point shots can be a major problem, and it doesn't take much for Towns to get that shot off. So being able to meet the catch, rather consume all that space that's out there, and be able to challenge those shots, and then also stop him from driving to the basket with his right hand. Offensively, space the floor, knock down 3-point shots, run. They have a great chemistry in terms of he and Halliburton in that ball screen situation. So see more of that. Look to see more of that. But just coming out with an overall focus, I thought it was interesting in the fourth quarter that Rick Carlisle chose to go with that smaller lineup, and Obi Toppin was in at the 5, which proved to be effective. So we'll see what adjustments are made there.
So Eddie Gill's got you tonight here on The Fan. Again, 7:30 coverage begins. Pat Boylan, Mark Boyle, Eddie Gill. 8 o'clock is the tip time game number 2. I'm telling you, Eddie, I know you're not here right now, but you can feel with the Racers and the Pacers and all that is going on, it is really an amazing time to be a sports fan here in Indy. It truly is. And I know you kind of soaked that up a little bit, don't you?
Oh, it's an outstanding time. I mean, these times, especially as a community, can't take these times for granted, because you don't know how long they're going to last. Understanding how difficult it is, for teams like, for example, the Fever and the Pacers right now to be competing at a high level and be contenders and challenge for championship opportunities. All the while the race will be on the same weekend. It's just a great time for the city. Again, just show great appreciation. Hope everybody's able to enjoy it. The Fever and the Pacers get wins. That would be great. And whoever your favorite driver or racer is can get one as well. I'm pulling for Jack Harvey, by the way, just so you guys know. Just a little bias there. So hopefully Jack Harvey can get something done.
Why is that?
Side note, we, as a company that invests, wealth management company, we are on the Carb, big sponsors of Jack Harvey.
I like how, Eddie, I always like talking to you because you show the width of your vocabulary. You came in with ruckus, and then you dropped a mesmerized in there as well.
Oh man! Listen,
that's right.
I've heard all about your business right there. You're doing a hell of a job. Because we got a mutual friend, Eddie. So I've heard. I may have to talk to you sometime too, because I'm a financial wreck.
Make me some money. I need some money, Eddie. Come on.
Oh man,
Financial
I know a
wreck.
guy. I know a guy.
You got hey. Enjoy the call later on tonight, man. Hopefully they go out and get game number 2 and then really set the stage for you coming up on Sunday. Eddie Gill, a part of the Pacers radio network later on tonight here on The Fan. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Thank you, Eddie.
I appreciate you guys. Have fun. Stay safe out there.
Eddie Gill from NYC right there. Hagen, you going to bail?
I got to bail.
Hagen's going to bail. Tony Donahue and I will take it until 5 o'clock. Andretti Global, we have their driving stables going to join us at the 5 o'clock hour, and we're going to head over to watch Brett Michaels and the All-American Rejects coming up in just a bit. Hey, quick shout. Cam, awesome. Nick, awesome. Brittany, awesome. You guys, fantastic. Thank you very much. Hey, we couldn't do it without him. And I want to give some love to B Swift of 100.9. That's Hot 100.9. B Swift is a great dude. You see him at the Pacer games, hyping at the crowd. He is absolutely fantastic. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 is going to bail. We'll come back with Tony Donahue about the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. Hey, keep in mind, coming up on Sunday morning, we're going to be right here. Me and Tony Katz. It's 93 WIBC and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. We get you covered beginning at 6 a.m. JMV Takeover and the Coke Lot, the Bronze Fun Time Camper in the Coke Lot coming up tomorrow night. The All Request Saturday night music show from 6 until midnight. Going to be live from the Coke Lot in the Bronze Fun Time Camper coming up tomorrow night. Tony Donahue about the race and more coming up until the top of the hour. Do not go anywhere. Carb Day 2025 is on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Nathaniel, jump on here really quick. You got us?
Yeah, what's up?
He has done a great job. Tony used to be my producer for a long time, did a great job as well. Nathaniel is producing today. Yeah, and Nathaniel
we work
does,
together. Him and I work together.
Yeah, well, Nathaniel does so much more than just what he is doing today.
Yeah.
And he's helped me work out the JMV takeover tomorrow night with a lot of stuff that we're going to do with DJ Skids. Nathaniel, brother, thank you very much for what you do, man. I appreciate you very much. You are incredibly talented, and we could not have done this show and the month of May without you. Thank you, buddy.
Hey, anything for you, John.
That's Nathaniel Finch right there. It's Tony Donahue, the former producer, and Unverified is the podcast. 109th running on Sunday. What are we thinking?
Man, the cooler temperatures is going to be more grip. Kind of brings the field together, I think. I think the biggest storyline, you have Elio going for 5, Joseph coming from the back going for 3, Sato on the front row going for his 3rd. But just a lot of cars that are really good, especially in race trim, starting like 15th on back. You got Colton Herta, Kyle Kirkwood, obviously Will Power, as well as Joseph Newgarden in the back. It's, Santino Ferrucci starting in the middle of the field. He's on the outside of a row. He's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be crazy. We got a rookie pole sitter that kind of got overshadowed by the Penske things that went down.
He's not going to have the lead by the 3rd lap.
Well, it's either going to go one way. They're either going to get around him going into 1 and it's going to be see you later, or he's going to lead for a while and everybody's going to be behind him kind of saving fuel on that stint and see what happens. So kid's got talent, though. Schwartzman's got a lot of talent. I've seen some of his steering traces, and he's a madman. So if he can keep that thing pointed in the right direction,
tell everybody what steering traces is, by the way, too.
I
don't know if I've taught them that here.
Ask
yet,
Blake.
So,
Blake T will tell you.
I'm sure
Blake knows exactly what steering traces are.
I'm sure he will.
But yeah, and then there's some really good storylines. There's some good drivers. Christian Lundgaard, very consistent here in his last couple of 500s. Marcus Ericsson knows how to win here.
Yep.
And we haven't even talked about Scott Dixon, Alex Palou, and Pato O'Ward. I'll say this. I like him a great deal. I've been pissed off Scott Dixon this month. There's something different about him. I don't know if it has a lot to do with Palou dominating, but man,
clock ticking.
Scott, well, there's that. But Scott Dixon is somebody that I think is going to be in contention for the win coming up on Sunday.
So Tony Donahue, Unverified is the podcast you can find. He and David Land do a great job in helping explain what is. Hello there. Is that for you or for me?
It's probably for you.
Clearly it's not for me.
No.
Is it for both of us right here?
It's for both of us.
Let me tell you.
Hi.
There's a dude up here leaning that needs it. Let me tell you that right now. But Unverified you can find on YouTube. Hey, I get all the dudes right here. That's great. But where can they find you on YouTube?
Unverified on YouTube. Check us out. At Tony D. Indy on Twitter. We'll have you covered throughout the weekend. And it's been a lot of fun. We've had some great views. And people are watching. A lot of drivers are watching, which is
How'd
interesting.
you get hooked up with David? I think he's a talented dude.
Yeah, David's great. The good thing about David is we're the exact opposite human beings in every state of the world. The world. So we just started hanging out at tracks and got to know each other. And we've had a lot of fun, and we definitely difference on opinion, which obviously makes shows, and you know how this is, and what you do on a daily basis. It makes shows more intriguing to listen to when not everything is agreeing. So who's your pick? Who are you going with?
Felix, because he's in the Creed car.
Yeah, I love Felix.
So why is Scott Stapp not here?
I think he's coming Sunday.
Is he?
Yeah. I've heard Scott Stapp's coming.
Who's waving the green flag? Have they announced that yet? I haven't looked at anything.
There's a rumor that a
Caitlin Clark?
very famous basketball player is going to be here. I got to
Normally
watch.
there's some kind of film that backs up this, and it's weird because I thought Brad Pitt in that F1 film may be it.
Yeah,
but
Tom
it's
Cruise,
not
because he's got Mission Impossible coming up this weekend.
Mission Impossible. We've done Miles Teller a couple of years ago with the Top Gun. I remember when Chris Hemsworth was right over here and like all the chicks were swooning over him. I don't remember what film it was, but he was a part of it. So it's probably going to be Caitlin Clark is what you're thinking.
I know she'll be here, so we'll see. But Felix is a good pick, man. He's been consistent. He sends the fade at times.
He's such a little nugget of a dude.
He's one of the nice, what I love about Felix, really all the Swedish drivers, Marcus is this way, and then the Danish drivers, I just walk up to him and be like, hey, this is what I need to know. Let me know. And obviously there's a lot of that going on with people wanting opinions and wanting to hear what the paddock was talking about after the Penske stuff. So it gave us a lot to talk about on Monday and Tuesday. I don't think it gave him a crazy advantage, if really anything at all. It's like steroid era baseball, right? I think everybody's cheating. And Barry Bonds had to hit those home runs. Joseph Newgarden had to still keep his foot in it
Like
going
Kevin
into 3
Gross, I think, scuffling the baseball.
Yeah.
Having a nail file out.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. If you're not trying to get a little bit of an advantage,
But you can't do it when you own the series when you own the track.
The separation of church and state.
And this place is different. I mean, if you want to blank around with Detroit or blank around Iowa, whatever,
Yeah.
but this place is different.
You want to go to Detroit with me next week? We'll have
I
a
am
good
not,
time.
because I hate the toilet. I'm
Yeah.
not going up there for
Yeah,
nothing. I
it'll
hate the
be
state of Michigan
one.
and the toilet.
It'll be
Hey, shout
good.
out to Michigan, because at least you've legalized weed before the clowns around here have. But I hate Michigan in general.
We're too
so I'm
worried
not
about
going.
paving roads. Oh, wait.
Yeah, we don't do that either. So you don't do that in Michigan or here. All right,
Oh, man.
Unverified
Yeah.
on YouTube before we go here.
Yeah, can't wait. We'll have an episode coming up this week to recap the race. And like you said, Pacers and Racers, one of the best times to be alive.
Tony Donnie, you're right
Thank
there.
you.
Hey, Cam and Phelan and Nick, man, you guys are the best. Thank you for doing that. The engineering best right there. And my man B Swift over here at 100.9. That's hot 100.9. Brittany is awesome as well. We're going to be back here coming up on Sunday. The show is still going on, but I'm going to head over with a couple of veterans. My man Brian Neer and BT Dew to introduce them to Brett Michaels. Let's go do that coming up next. And by the way, I've got Andretti Global for you. The entire stable of drivers coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. You guys are fantastic. Remember, Pacers next game 2 tonight at tip times at 8 o'clock, 7:30 coverage right here. I've got you coming up on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. I've got you coming up later on in the evening before game number 3 of the Pacers and the Knicks at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Pacers and Racers and the 2025 Carb Day experience right here. Nathaniel, take it away. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Right. Hey, JMV, join me coming up on Monday. Normally I don't do a show, but I will because there's so much going on. Great. up around here. I think specifically he has from Andretti Global. Colton Herta joins us now. Hey, Colton, thank you very much for the time. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah. Have you just kind of grown up right before our eyes around here? Is that what you've done?
I've been to quite a few. Yeah. Going and watching my dad race in it before, and then coming back when he was a team owner, and now coming back as a driver. So yeah, I've been here for quite a bit.
Would you reference yourself as a veteran? Are you a veteran race driver now? Because at some point you kind of make that transition, from young and whatever to veteran. Are you a veteran?
I'm not sure. I think it's hard. I don't know where that line falls. This is my 7th season, so probably. Yeah, I would say so.
Here's the thing, though. You're going to look young until you're about 70. So I don't know if you're ever going to be a veteran, man. The way you look, and you're a drummer in an indie rock band. I mean, hell, you're always going to be young, brother.
Right.
Hey, speaking of which, are you still a drummer in a rock band?
I'm not, no.
Have we given up the drums?
I think somebody fed you, information that isn't true anymore.
Really? Oh, okay. Well,
it's been a while.
I thought we've talked about this before. That's why I brought it up. I didn't even see it. I just knew. I knew back in the day. I think you were in a rock band, or at least a part of it. A big lover of music, and so am I. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. No, I used to be. But I think my schedule's a little too difficult to have too many hobbies.
Understand.
Every now and then.
What do you listen to? Anything in particular that gets you in that right mood?
I'm not a big music before getting in the car guy. I think it helps a lot of people. I've just never done it. I'm sure that I would probably enjoy it, but never done it. But yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of indie music, a lot of rock, a lot of hardcore punk. So whole bunch of different array of things depending on how I'm feeling.
Yeah. So what do you do in preparation? Just collect your thoughts, relax? What's the preparation?
Yeah, I like to stay quiet. Going over the last little bits of information about what I think is the most important going into the race and how I want to run my race. And just kind of, being able to be somewhere alone and just think about that kind of gets me in the right mindset.
Good idea. Colton Herta joins us, Andretti Global on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, rolling off 27th, coming up for the 109th running of the Indy 500. So, in a nutshell, define what this month has been for you up until this point.
Oh, boy, yeah, it's been a roller coaster for sure. To be able to come back from that crash that we had qualifying weekend. We had a really fast car beforehand, so we're all on the highs, and dropped down to the lows on Saturday after having a qualifying crash. And then the guys did an incredible job, got the car back together. Brand new car, brand new tub, brand new gearbox, all suspension, all aero pieces were brand new. The car was destroyed. The only thing that they switched over from before was the engine, and they did that in less than 4 hours. So extremely impressive. I've had a lot of people coming up to me that are like, oh, I've been a mechanic in IndyCar for 30 years, and I've never seen anything like that. So a huge prop to the boys. And then that was the easy. The hard part was going back out there and having to put the car in the show, which we did, first try. And, it was a car that was built up from nothing and was able to run 230 miles an hour for 4 laps. So that was a pretty incredible day, one that I will never forget. That was probably the happiest I've ever been to be 29th. But, given the circumstances, I was just happy to be able to be in the show.
What's interesting about that is, it's like teamwork. I'm sure it's gratifying for you because everybody's got everybody's back on that team. And there's something to be said about those moments that help galvanize you and your teammates, as you mentioned, the boys, even more.
Yeah, you never want situations like that to happen, but it's pretty incredible the outcome of situations like that. Like I said, I was just so impressed. Obviously, I've never seen anything like that. A lot of people said they've never seen anything like that. Just to have such a quick turnaround. I guess to put it into perspective, I would say a normal kind of turnover period, like Marcus Armstrong crashed in the morning practice at around 8:30 to 9 a.m. And they didn't get out till after we got out, so around 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. Whereas we crashed at 12, and we were able to get out before them. So I would say what they did was more normal in terms of time. It was just pretty incredible how fast that my guys got it done.
Did you watch your guys do it? Did you grab a wrench or anything like that and throw in any help whatsoever?
No, it probably would have taken like 4 or 5 hours more if I was on the car. No, I stay out of their way. And I looked at stuff basically the whole time to kind of prepare myself, and looked at what we did wrong and try to understand that a little bit better, so me and Nathan could make a better decision. Now, that's teamwork right there in a nutshell. What did you find out about that crash in particular? Because it was a tough day, don't get me wrong, really a tough weekend. You had gusty winds and stuff to deal with. Was it that, or what did you find out a little bit later about that situation that you learned from? I think we were probably just too light on downforce. I think it's such a small margin to be too light or too heavy, and I think we just got it wrong, and it was just enough that it ended up eventually spinning the car. It's a difficult place. It's so difficult, and so many times you can crash here and just have no idea what went wrong. So we were kind of lucky in that aspect to understand what happened. He is Colton Herta of Andretti Global. So I'm assuming by what you said a little bit earlier, you feel much better about what is on the way for you coming up on Sunday, and then maybe what your starting spot would suggest to those just kind of looking at the starting grid. Is that fair to say? Yeah. I mean, we had practiced on Monday, and that was the last time I got in the car. We'll practice again on Friday. But the car feels great, so it just makes you even more kind of enthusiastic about the race and about getting in with the race. So, I'm ready to go. I feel really good physically and feel ready to tackle this, and to then have the car feeling so nice in practice is such a bonus for every aspect of the race. Does it feel better than the one you tin canned? I would say it's pretty equal. Cool. Yeah, which is never the case. Last time I had something like this happen was in 2022, and we had to go to a backup car, and we were so slow the rest of the month. Just could not get speed out of it. So to be confident and feel a similar feeling is pretty rare. You had that practice Monday, obviously, again, Friday. Is there a way other than just rhythm that you can prepare? Because I know normally you guys would love to have something similar in a weather forecast, but hell, it looks like we're all over the map with this thing, man. I mean, it really does. Weather-wise here, is there any way, just outside of just getting your rhythm down in preparation, that you can deal with it as far as getting ready for Sunday? Yeah. Friday should be very similar weather-wise, okay. So it should be a good look at what we're going to see. My AccuWeather forecast may be not inaccurate, maybe inaccurate, I guess, in this case. So I thought Friday. I just thought we were going to be all over the map here. So, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You're much better at this than I am. Go ahead. This is what I've been told. And yes, they use a very expensive weather system. Cool. That they pay for, so I trust it. But we should see a similar weather pattern through Friday and through Saturday. So, what that does for us is it just kind of gets us a better understanding on a few things. On downforce level, that's a big thing that changes with weather. When it's cooler, the car is much more efficient. It makes more engine power, but it also makes more downforce in the less dense wind. Less dense air. So that's something that we'll be looking at to try to nail. Another thing is gearing, to get the right top gears. Like I said, the engine is way more efficient in cooler temperatures than warmer, especially a turbocharged engine like we run. So we will see a little bit of increased power. So how that changes is yet to come, yet to be seen, but it should be a good indicator for us to kind of understand how this race is going to play out.
Colton Herta joins us. What do you think about the hybrid situation?
I think it is what it is. You know, I think it's a big push from IndyCar to get hybrids, and big push from the engine manufacturers to get hybrids. I don't really have a feeling on it any which way. I don't think it's changed too much. So for me, it's no problem. Obviously, if it changed the feel of the car like a bunch, like I'd probably be more vocal about it. But you know.
Colton, we talked about the years you've been here and the talent that clearly you have. Do you ever have the feeling that you're due? And is that fair to describe, considering basically that track, IMS, dictates terms on absolutely everything? Can you feel due to win?
It definitely sure does feel that way, that the track controls everything. But you know, I would say I hate that saying because I know how much work everybody puts in too. So you know, when you do win, you know, really it is your time to win, and you do deserve it because all the teams take up so much time throughout the year and huge chunks of the off season to prepare these race cars for the super speedway and just kind of try to understand it a little bit better. So I mean, I hope we can do this. I know we got the team. I know we got the car. I know I'm capable of doing it, but it's just a matter of putting everything together.
I mentioned this, and we'll close out with Colton Herta here. I mentioned the track dictates the terms, and oftentimes drivers put it as, you know, the track makes the decision on the outcome of it. And we toss that around all the time. Fans toss that around to describe that to those that may say, well, you know, that's just kind of driver speak right there. Describe this track and how it does dictate the terms on the ultimate outcome, the winner.
I think there's just so many things that go wrong in this race for so many people. So I think that's where the feeling comes from. So yeah, like you could be looking at such good result, and a number of things could happen to you in the last pit stop, or, you know, mistimed caution. There's just so many things that are out of the driver's control. I think that's where the feeling comes from.
Hey, one last thing in this case. When you have a good car, and we know you have that feeling of having a good one coming up on Sunday, how patient do you have to be considering where you're starting compared to how good you feel about what you're going to be wheeling around?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely enough time to get to the front, so I'm not pressured on if we're going to get there or not. You know, it's just a matter of when. You know, we have a good enough car to get up there. It's just going to take time, and yeah, just be patient. You know, there's no need to rush it in this race. This race is so long that you can really take your time with everything, and I imagine a lot of the positions are for me are going to come from restarts. You can get a little bit more aggressive in that aspect, and we've been good at that in the past. So we'll see what ultimately plays out, but I'm confident.
Here I was sitting here at the beginning of the conversation thinking that you may clear your head and get prepared by listening to the Ramones or the Buzzcocks, and you're just going to sit there quietly in a room with your thoughts, and that's it. There's your preparation right there. How wrong was I? It's incredible.
Well, you know, it's different for everybody, but it works for me.
It does, man. Hey, keep it going. I hope that good fortune hits you coming up along with your talent on Sunday. And you have a lot of people cheering for you out there, Colton. I appreciate the time as always, man. Have a great day.
Thanks so much.
It's Colton Herta on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We've talked about music before. I thought that he kind of rocked it out. Maybe it's just maturation. Maybe. Colton Herta on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Andretti Global. Quick one. We'll come back. Do not go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
7-5, The Fan.
Joining us now, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He is a former champion, a second-place finisher, and then I don't even know if we want to talk about what took place a year ago. And he's a fan favorite out of the paddock and a fan favorite throughout IMS. It is Marcus Ericsson who joins us from Andretti Global right now. Marcus, thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm great. It's race week, so it's exciting time.
I want to think about 2022, and I guess to a degree 2023 as well. Can we just utterly forget what took place a year ago for you and move on from there?
Yeah, and last year was a challenge, to say the least. Yeah, I like to talk more about 22 and 23. That's more fun than last year, for sure.
The one thing I did want to ask you before we did move on, you worked so hard to get prepared for that. You'd had so much back-to-back years of success. How difficult was that to go through with this race in mind, the crown jewel, for a calendar year to get to this point to where you are right now? Has that been the most difficult aspect of what you faced in driving in motorsport so far, is dealing with that?
Yeah, I mean, last year was tough, but that just shows that, this race is you never know what to get at this race, and it's such a tough race to compete in and to run up front and fight for the win. It's so small margins, and I had a big crash last year in practice, and that sort of put our whole month on the back foot. And sometimes you learn a lot from those experiences, though, and I think, for me, that made me stronger to go through that. And I've used that this month of May to be better and to perform better, and I think that's going to pay off on Sunday. And we've had a really good month so far. So sometimes you gotta go through those sort of hard times to become better.
He will roll off ninth in row number 3. Marcus Ericsson, the former champion of Andretti Globals on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. How do you feel this month has gone for you, especially in terms of your preparation for the 109th 500 on Sunday?
Very good. I think the team has done a tremendous job. My Allegra car, it's really cool as well. It stands out, like purple and orange and everything. It looks really cool on track, and I think we've done a really good job with preparing the car and practicing with the car, and had a good solid qualifying weekend starting on the outside of row 3. I think it's a perfect spot to go win a race from.
Yeah, and how difficult have the conditions been? Because if it's not wind, it's something else, and there's not a lot of ways you're going to prepare for what the forecast, I think, maintains for Sunday. How difficult is that at that track to deal with when you've got the wind and you don't really get to practice in the form of the weather and how you believe it's going to be coming up on Sunday?
It's been really difficult because, like you say, it's been tough conditions. Last week when we were practicing, it was really hot, humid, and windy, and that makes it really tough. And then over qualifying weekend as well, it was very windy, and we saw a lot of people, crashing, and, it was very tough conditions. And now that's all going to swing for the weekend and should be a lot cooler, and that will definitely make the cars behave differently on track. So it's a challenge for all of us to sort of, one, figure out how to drive with it, and also figure out how to set up the cars for it. So it's going to be really interesting. But I think what it will do is going to make the racing really fun to race and watch. I think it's going to be a lot of drama and a lot of action out on track.
Completely agree. Marcus Ericsson of Andretti Globals on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Row number 3, he'll roll off ninth coming up on Sunday. Our coverage begins, by the way, Sunday morning with the Fan and WIBC at 6 a.m. from Pagoda Plaza. How much do you feel you've learned since your ultimate success of winning this race a couple of years ago?
I constantly learn. I think that's the thing that you got to do to stay on top of, in this sport. You always need to learn and become better. And I know that's a big strength. I know what I need to do to win this race. And, there's not a lot of other drivers that can stay there on the grid. So I know what I need from the car. I know what I need to do for execution when it comes race day. But it's still you need to have everything perfect. Everything needs to be perfect to win that race. And that's what we're aiming for.
What's the balance between, you mentioned everything being perfect, but what's the balance between being good and knowledgeable as you are, but also just having an incredible stroke of luck or good fortune on race day?
Yeah, no, I think it's a saying that the track chooses its winner, and that's, to some extent true. You need to prepare and do everything right to put yourself in a position to win, but then when it comes down to it, it's got to be your day, and things can sort of fall your way to be able to win this race because it's so incredibly hard to do it. But I always say to my guys, and we need to prepare to win and do everything in our powers to put ourselves in a position to win, and then we just gotta give it everything we got. And I think we've done that so far this month, and that makes me very proud and very excited for going racing.
Marcus, I was curious about how much you've learned since winning. Is there any part of you at all, and I know you want to continuously learn, I'm not suggesting you don't, but is there any part of you that it feels good about the fact that maybe there was a lot of stuff you didn't know, a couple of years ago when you won it, and now you do, and you go, sometimes it seems like it is better not to know some things before you go in it. Is there a case of that? Maybe a moment, maybe just something now that, you know what, I would be better off without not even knowing that, because that's how it was a couple of years ago when I won it. Anything stand out?
No, not really. I mean, you always learn new stuff, and I think, my key to winning that race was just being patient and being there at the end and positioning myself for being there at the end in the race. So I think, that's something that I learned throughout that race. And then, that's something I bring with me every time I try and win it again.
Hey, Marcus, how often do you guys discuss strategy? And then with that in mind, how often over the course from, for example, right now through the start of the race on Sunday, would that strategy be adjusted and or change?
Yeah, you always have quite a lot of discussions around it, and you have a solid plan. But the problem with the race like the Indy 500 is that those sort of strategies that you have before the race is going to change probably 10 times throughout the race, because there's so many things outside your control that's going to happen. It's going to be cautions. It's going to be so many things happening during the race day. So you got to be very flexible and, have a plan, but also have the ability to change your plan on the fly. I think that's the key.
Let's say, well, I was in the simulator for the first time, the real simulator, what you guys used a couple of weeks ago. How the hell do you look down at the steering wheel and look back up and not run into the infield? I can't do it.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, and especially this year with the hybrid as well. You need to regen that battery and deploy the battery on top of all the other tools you have on your steering wheel and your cockpit. So it's definitely a lot going on, and we're only doing like 230 miles an hour out there on track, so it's a piece of cake.
I'm assuming you know where all the buttons are, and you don't have to look. But I found myself looking, and as soon as I look, it's over. I'm in the infield or against the wall. I have no idea. That is, I think, Marcus, that's a sobering if you do that for the first time. Because it's not even close to what you guys have to go through on a race day, but it is incredible. Just a little bit of what you guys have to endure is amazing in that simulator.
Yeah, no, it's a good tool to. I mean, we use simulators a lot as well, to perfect our driving and setups and stuff. But yeah, it's good for you guys to try it and see that it's pretty tricky out there. And then also, in the simulator, you crash and you press the restart button, whereas in real life you're gonna hurt yourself and ruin your race car. So it's tough out there.
I was really good in pole position back in the 1980s. I couldn't do this for nothing, man. I mean, I'm all over the place. It's Marcus Ericsson with us. Obviously, this week there's been a huge storyline with Team Penske. I don't know what your thoughts might be, if you have any thoughts. I know we're all going to move forward past this, and the punishment has been handed down. But what was your initial thoughts, and then where do you stand with the punishment and where we are with that team, your competitors right now?
Yeah, and I think it's a shame, of course, for the race and for the series that this is happening leading up to the race. And yeah, it's unfortunate that there's a lot of talking about that. It's a sellout crowd on Sunday, and we should be talking about that and the excitement about the race. So yeah, I think IndyCar did it well in the way they penalized, and then was very tough in the way they were handling it. I think that was good. And then from my stance, I just need to focus on my stuff and go win a race. So yeah I think IndyCar has done a good job with that.
So Marcus Ericsson with us. I've been to every Pacer home playoff game so far. I actually saw you there. Have you evolved into a Pacers fan?
Oh, massive. I mean, the last couple of years I've been really getting into it, and last year was a lot of fun following their playoff run, and again this year I've been to a few of the playoff games, a few of the games in the regular season, and it's always such a good time. I love it, and it's fun to see them play so well. It's going to be huge now with the Knicks, and playing the first home game in the 500 Sunday is going to be very cool as well. What a day for Indianapolis.
Now, if you win your second, which I'm sitting here right now, full disclosure, I've picked Ed Carpenter like 5 times in the past, and Ed has said, stop picking me because he stinks every time I pick him. So I've stopped picking him, and I'm kind of on the fence who to pick. And I was thinking about you being able to win your second, but I'm curious, if you were to win, would you still be able to attend Pacers game number 3 on Sunday night? Could that happen?
I will make it happen. I know that you have to be like on the media and all that stuff, but it's got to be cool for everyone and for IndyCar to have the 500 winner down there at the game, you know, like on the court in halftime or something, celebrating that. So that's definitely my plan when I win the race on Sunday.
My man right there. Marcus Ericsson of Andretti Global. There's a reason why he's a fan favorite, because he's a good dude and obviously a tremendous Pacer fan. Rolling off in row number 3, coming up in the 109th running of the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indy 500 on Sunday. Again, our coverage begins Sunday morning at 6 a.m. in Pagoda Plaza. Hey, man, it's always a pleasure. I thoroughly enjoy you, and there's a reason why you're a fan favorite, because you're cool as hell. Go out there and get number 2 coming up on Sunday, and then we'll see you also at the Pacer game Sunday night, okay?
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Marcus Ericsson is a true dude right there. He is one of my favorites. Former champion on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Let us take a break, and we shall return. Do not go anywhere. It's 93.5 and 107. Joining us now, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He's got a win this season, too, a part of Andretti Global. Kyle Kirkwood joins us. Hey, Kyle, thank you for the time. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Hope you're feeling better. I heard maybe a little bit under the weather today. Are you feeling better?
Yeah. I'm feeling better this afternoon. I woke up this morning feeling awful, though. And I actually felt bad yesterday, but getting inside the car usually makes you forget about any pain or any sickness that you have. So it's actually nice to drive. Yeah, there's something going around. I'm not the only driver to get it, though. So
yeah, there is. I'll be honest with you, Kyle. There is something that's happening. There's something going around right now, too, for real.
Yeah, so fortunately, being an IndyCar driver, you get to go see the doctors at IndyCar Medical, and they get you all tuned up for anything that you need. So I went and saw them yesterday, and they said I'm not the only one that's been coming over there. So I guess there's a multitude of drivers that are having the same issues. So, but you know what? This is not a bad time to get it because we got a couple days off that we won't be driving, and then on Friday I should be good to go.
Yeah, well, and you can just sit around thinking about Long Beach and get yourself in a frame of mind. And here's the reason why I want you to do that is because I think I like where you are. I like what I think you can do. And I know that not everybody is due. I know that this track picks and chooses and dictates who wins. But, man, you're at the top of my list. And I don't want you to be negative and change my mind at all, but give me maybe some reasons you believe in a similar fact on the role that you can play late in this race coming up on Sunday, because I have a belief here.
Yeah. I mean, we got to do things right. The past couple of years we've had really good shots at winning this race and just wasn't able to get it done. I know 2 years ago when we flipped, we were running kind of right at the front of the pack. I think we were running third before our last stop, or maybe, you know what, I was running second, just kind of holding back and decided to not make a pass happen. And in our last stop, we had a little bit of a hiccup and put us back to ninth, which in some ways kind of takes you out of contention if it's only 20 laps to go and you're running in ninth. And then last year we went all the way to the back, had multiple pit lane issues and had drive-throughs and was behind the pack by like 20 seconds in last, and we still somehow cycled back up into fourth place for the last stint and gave us another good shot at it. So I feel like we have the best car that we've ever had at this race. Our qualifying doesn't say that, but our race car does. And, I think we've been in this position before that we started deep in the pack. We've driven up to the front. But if we do things right, we get there for that last in and have an opportunity at winning this thing. I think this is the best shot that we've ever had.
He is.
So we're looking forward to it.
He is Kyle Kirkwood on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I've referenced Long Beach, and it's not even close to the same race, but winning certainly is nice, and you have that feeling of winning already under your belt this season. Can you take some confidence from that and build to the endurance test that's coming up with the greatest spectacle in racing on Sunday here? Completely different track, but certainly a level of endurance that would be the necessity to also include some confidence. You feel that?
Yeah. Our team, it's mostly, it's confidence within your team, right? We know that we're race-winning caliber. We know we're championship contenders. We're running second in the points right now, and we can do things just as good as anybody else can, and we have the equipment, we got the personnel, we got everything to do it. So there's definitely confidence there from that win in Long Beach, but at the same time, you have to take it one step at a time and attack it from every angle that it gives you, because this is an endurance race in its own, and it's very, very tough to get this one right with how many pit stops there are, how the racing is, how the fuel strategy ends up. It like you said earlier, does definitely pick the winner, but we have the crew to do it. So I have full trust in them. I think we can do it. There's never been a year that I didn't think that we could do it. So and this is potentially our best, like I said earlier. So it's one that I'm really looking forward to at this time.
What is the most important aspect that you have learned over the years of being part of this that you think you can put to good use on Sunday?
It's being perfect. Like I said, it's not having mistakes and almost to the extent that you want to maybe back up a little bit and make sure that everything is smooth and easy and concise to then set yourself up for the end of this race, because it's not like normal sprint races that we have. We usually go 2 or 3 stops and you're just flat out the entire time. Whereas this race, you can kind of set yourself up for something bigger in the future. With as many stops as you do, you can do 5, 6 stops here in this race. So it's a test on all of us, and maybe backing up a little bit to just make sure everything is perfect, and you do everything and execute how you envision is potentially more valuable than pushing hard and trying to get the most out of it in some ways.
Yeah, it's Kyle Kirkwood's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Andretti Global coming up on the 109th running of the Indy 500. That's on Sunday, 6 a.m. We start from Pagoda Plaza. This has occurred to me with Marcus and Colton. It seems like that their teams have been busy at work trying to put things back together again. Is there something to be said about staying as smooth as possible? Now, again, you also find out just how deep and how versatile your team is when you have to go through junk. But is there something to be said about, kind of being calm and going down the same path, whereas you look around you and maybe others are hustling a little bit more because of situations?
Yeah, it would be really easy to be in the same situation as Colton or Marcus was last year. This place it's not easy to drive around. You still have to push the limits to know exactly what you have and what you're going to have in the race, and it's easy to make a mistake when you're pushing the limits. So it is good that we've come out of this in a very clean way. We still have one more day to go, though.
Yeah.
We still have two more hours of running. So
I'm not trying to jinx you either, by the way. That's my bad.
Yeah, but it is important though to stay clean through the entire month. One mishap can set you back massively, where you're changing cars and you're kind of restarting from April, where we had our first test, or even further back from there when we're doing.
No, it's amazing.
So.
It's been amazing what you guys have done. I'm talking about your teammates, too, because especially with Colton, I mean, it's almost like they put that thing back together so stinking quickly. You just rarely see that. And that's a level of teamwork that has to make you proud all the way around for being a part of the Andretti Global as you are.
For sure. That's where we thrive. Andretti Global has been known to bounce back in adverse times. And I think that was another indicator of that right there. It took them under 4 hours to fully rebuild a new car from scratch, which for most teams takes them a week if you're doing it in a shop. So it was incredible to see. It's incredible to watch. I'm glad it wasn't my car, but at the same time, it gives me confidence that if something was to go wrong, we know that we have the people and the tools and the equipment to put together a new car and still be very, very good, as Colton was on Monday.
Kyle Kirkwood with us. Is it difficult not to get frustrated in these smallish moments and make something bigger? Because to me, that would be really tough to deal with. That frustration that often comes when you mentioned earlier, all right, there's not a perfect situation going on, but having to easily forget that and move on, is that difficult, or is that a learned experience from your year so far out there?
It's hard to say. Situations like that can be very frustrating, but you have to reset always, regardless of what happens. And whether it's positive or negative in all motorsports, you always have to reset and go after what you have in front of you, right? Sometimes you don't choose your battles, but you still have to go after them. And if it's a situation where you go out there and win, the next weekend's ahead of you. You've got it. You're only as good as your last race. And in a situation like that where something bad happens, you got to block it out of your brain and go back into the same mindset that you had before. And that's the reason why you got to the place that you were before. So it's a tough thing to do, but as racing drivers, we are wired to that kind of mindset.
Is this a learned patience for you? Were you always this patient, or again, is this just about experiences?
I grew more patient as I joined IndyCar itself, because it was always my goal as a young kid to make it to IndyCar. So I count my blessings every day that I was able to make it to what I always dreamed of. And I know through positive and negative times, I'm exactly where I wanted to be in life. So in some ways that allows me to reset up maybe easier for than others. But that's what I try and bring to the track every day.
Yeah, second in points right now, and a win at Long Beach, and would love to take this bad boy home for his team, Andretti Global, coming up on Sunday, the 109th running of the Indy 500. And Kyle Kirkwood joins us. Seriously, I have a really good feeling about you. Now, don't ask Ed Carpenter about my good feelings, because like 5 years running, it hasn't worked out for him. But I have a really good feeling for you going into this race. So, yes.
I appreciate it.
You got it. Hey, the best of luck to you. We'll look for you out there, too, and have a great Sunday, okay, brother?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You
See you out
got
there.
Kyle Kirkwood, a winner already in IndyCar this year at Long Beach. We'll see what happens coming up on Sunday. Pagoda Plaza, it is busy here. Carb Day 2025, Brett Michaels, All-American Rejects. Hey, keep this in mind, too. We just talked to all of Andretti Global right there. You go back on a podcast on 1075thefan.com. But I would love to see you this weekend. I am going to be staked out in the Bronze Fun Time Camper RV in the Coke Lot. Now, you have to have a Coke Lot wristband to get in, but hopefully I can see you out there with or without, but you have to have one to get in, and I certainly want to see you. We'll be hanging out there all weekend long. The JMV takeover on B105.7 will happen. That is coming up tomorrow night, 6 until midnight. The All Request Saturday night. Doug Bowles, Speedway and IndyCar president, will join us coming up tomorrow as well, and who knows what else is going to take place, but All Request JMV takeover, the Saturday night party. We're going to turn it up a notch. Normally it's epic the night before the 500 anyway, but this is even more so with what we're going to be doing live from the Coke Lot in the Bronze Fun Time Camper. Look for us, listen for us, have a blast with us, but you need a Coke Lot wristband to get in and be a part of it. Again, coming up tomorrow night. Meantime, Sunday morning, 6 a.m., me, Tony Katz, on The Fan and 93 WIBC. One of my favorite times of the year, not because I get to work with Tony Katz, but because I get to throw it to traffic and Matt Baer. So you've got us on pre-race coverage. We'll hit all the big stories, and believe me, there's been so much drama across the board in this month of May, and especially in the past week or so. We'll go over all of that regarding Team Penske, probably dive a little bit more into Andretti Global, as we talked about, too, and some of the front runners. Robert Schwartzman off the pole and his chances to win as somebody that's never done this before. A team that's never done this before. So we've got the storylines for you. Hang tight. Coming up on Sunday morning, we will be a part of that, of course, too. Nothing but Pacer Knicks conversation coming at you as well. The Eastern Conference Finals continue coming up later on tonight with game number 2. And then remember, you got Racers and Pacers coming up on Sunday. You've got the 109th running of the Indy 500. And then after the race, you're going to hear me doing a pregame show before the Knicks and the Pacers Game 3. That is the Pacer part of it. The Eastern Conference Finals, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, coming up on Sunday evening. I will help get you there. We'll close it out. The last word coming up next. After that, the Eastern Conference Finals with the Pacers and the Knicks. Nathaniel, thank you very much for all the time. Thank you very much for helping out today, all of our guests. And everybody out here in Pagoda Plaza, let the weekend officially get underway. The 109th running of the Indianapolis 500. It's right here. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
This is the Fan Morning Show.